Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Floodlights, Camera, Action. From Feliz Navidad to Feliz Hasalak, probably butchered that pronunciation. We look to bridge the gap between film and football and tell you exactly what films you should be watching and what ones to avoid. I'm Jack, but podcast is only because it's co-host. So for the last time this year, I'm joined by my good friend Veronika to work for the do's and don'ts of film watching. Veronika, how are you? And did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, I'm good. My Christmas was well, I had 2 days off work. And I enjoyed them. I drank and I actually watched a lot of films, so I was happy about that. But actually, I wanted to. Well, first of all, I want to say sorry for not being there last episode because I know everyone missed me a lot.
Boo.
I was really busy
Yeah.
at
Okay.
Spoons.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, Veronika, little peek behind the curtain here. She said, I'm gonna have to miss the episode." And I was like, okay, whatever. You work, sure. I recorded Casey, and it was a great episode, by the way. Go back and listen to that definitely. And then afterwards, I messaged Veronika to say we're all done, edited, uploaded, kind of thing. And then she sends me a text saying, "Can you buy me and my mate some drinks?" And I go, "Yeah, sure, fuck it." So not only did I do all the work, I then paid for a round of, I don't remember what I ordered. It was like a round of
It
weird
was.
shots and stuff.
Oh, mate, I'm not gonna lie, I was already a bit gone, and then it was like a tray of shots. I I smelled the pineapple tequila, and I just handed it straight to my friend Will because it smelled like it was 50% alcohol.
Yeah, it's because
So I
basically,
drank the Skittle
look,
Bomb
the reason I was able
and
to
the limoncello.
buy that, the reason I was able to buy that is because I made a really good return on investment in Hawk Coin.
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
I'm really rolling in it, really.
Before we get to that, because we will be talking about that, of course, I remembered recently that I was going to ask you about something, and then I didn't, so I'll do it now. And you don't know what I'm going to ask you.
No, it's
But
scary.
I remember you mentioned that you maybe fell in love in Rome with a beautiful woman. So what happened there? Give us an
Have I not
analysis,
told this on the
please.
podcast?
No, you haven't,
This
no.
was this was maybe when I go to Rome. It's like 2 months after I had
When
my
in Rome.
breakup,
Sorry.
and yeah, good. And we got on, kind of got off the bus from the airport, got onto the metro to go to where we were staying, and I turn around, and there is just the most like gorgeous blonde, like 20-something Italian woman, and you know when like there's like a split second where. During Ratatouille, when he eats the ratatouille at the end and he like goes back to childhood, that was me, but it was just like going into just like happiness. And I mapped out an entire future with this woman, and then she got off the metro. No, I got off the metro and I never saw her again, and it was really heartbreaking because she is the most
So
beautiful
it's
woman
like
I've ever seen in my entire life.
basically the Before trilogy. But if
But I
they
didn't
never got
talk
off
to
the
her.
train. Yeah.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
never
It's a before trilogy. If only Jesse got off the train.
Yeah. Well, I've already told you about this, but I had the same thing happen in Venice. I think it's a universal thing that happens when you go to Italy, you fall in love with a blonde woman.
Yeah.
And it's just like
If
the
I ever
most
go back, I might
gorgeous
just say
woman
hello.
you've ever seen.
Like, what's? I'm never going to see her again. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Well, I
You know?
spoke to the one I met like quite a lot, and then the second
Yeah, because
year I went,
you've got
I
game, mate.
spoke to her again, and then
I didn't realise you saw her
will I
season in a
speak to her
row.
again? Yeah.
Wow. Did she recognise you?
I'm actually in the Before trilogy right now.
You have to wait
She
6
probably
years
hates
until
me.
the next one, though. Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay, well yeah, that's the intro done, I guess. We just moved on completely. I think we should answer some fan mail. I've heard we
Yes.
have an
So,
email.
yeah. So after many, many weeks, we're now on episode 19. We finally got an email on the 8th of December from Ben. I won't read your surname because, you know who you are.
Yeah, don't dox them.
Yeah, don't, yeah. And your email and your address. No. So Ben emails in, subject line, Hook Tour. Why am I doing this to myself? He says, "Hello, Floodlight Pod. I'm in a bit of a sticky situation. I recently invested my student loan into Haley Welch's Hawk coin. I thought this was a clever investment, but I've lost everything. What do I do? Do you believe Hawk coin will make a return? And I just need to wait. Please give me your professional opinions on this. Brackets, I'm an Apple Podcast listener, if that helps. It absolutely does. Thank you." And it says, "Also, thank you for shouting episode 16. It made my week." Ben, now,
We love you.
before you give your answer, I do want to say, we are not qualified financial advisors. So don't, ruin your life because of us. Veronika, do you have any words for Ben here and his financial
I do.
predicament?
I absolutely do, because I feel like I'm an expert now on all things Hawk Tour. and I will give you my answer right now, Ben. Benjamin, Benny, whatever. I feel like I'm not allowed to call you those other
I think
names,
Ben's
but
fine. I think Ben's probably
yeah,
fine.
let's go Ben. So, Karl Marx once said that money is not real, okay? It's just a concept created by capitalism, and so you should spend all your money and not worry about the consequences because it will figure itself out. That's how life works. And actually, both of us have recently watched It's a Wonderful Life at Christmas. And
Great film.
the main guy, he thought losing money was the worst thing in the world. And then his guardian angel made him realize, actually, it doesn't matter, and there's more important things like friends and family and helping people. And you did something very noble, Ben. You wanted to help a friend. Some would say she feels like family. Haley Welch. And I think I speak for everyone at FCA when I say you deserve a Medal of Honor for upholding family values over the capitalist concept of money. I'm proud of you. But, like, if you have an issue with the fact that you have no money left, I'd say you should probably get a job. Keep listening to us on the podcast, though, and if you ever have another student loan lying around, maybe help us out next time. That's my answer.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't pre-rehearsed, was it? That definitely wasn't scripted.
No.
Ben, you're obviously an avid listener to Floodlights Camera Action, and I'm not a big fan of Haley Welch. I'm on record calling her a grifter. I'm on record saying she was more entertaining when she was spitting on cocks, which is factually correct. I'm not really sure who Pookie is, but I feel bad for him that he has to put up with her.
Where was Pookie in all this, by the way?
Yes, yeah, Pookie's
That's
done
all
a
we're all
runner.
saying.
But Ben, I'm not gonna lie to you, mate. I feel like you've made a big mistake investing in Hawkcoin. Not that I mean, my previous stance was that anyone who invests in it deserves to be financially ruined. You're a listener, so I won't say that, but I would say just choose your investments a bit wiser in the future because
Yeah, maybe sponsor our
when
podcast.
maybe
I'm
sponsor our
joking.
podcast.
I'm
Or
not.
do or do you can say whatever you want if that's the case. But look, you got to look at the people behind the coin. And when a woman has been famous for 8 months for spitting on cocks, just have a little rethink there, buddy. Have a little rethink. But hope all turns out well in the future. Veronica, we give our best wishes to Ben here, don't we? And please keep emailing
Yeah,
in
we do.
because someone has to.
Yeah, you can be our producer or our provider of content because
Or just financial support. That's it.
yeah, anything. But speaking of the future, as you just mentioned, let's talk a bit about the past because 2024 is almost over. Why did I say? Well, you know what? That made no sense. Yeah, it's almost over, and I just wanted to think. Let's have a little look back on any key events, anything big happened to you in 2024, Jack. Do you want to mention any? Have a little reflection.
Yeah, I mean, this is a year of growth for me. I'll be honest, we just spent a couple of minutes talking about Hawk Tour, so now I've got to wax serious. Year of growth, I'd say. Did therapy at the beginning of the year, that worked. Had a breakup, that didn't work. Kind of prioritized work quite a lot, but more in a healthy way. Because previously I still am a workaholic, and I always will be. I love to work, and I love feeling, important and whatnot. But kind of learning to put myself first at points. Big events wise, obviously Portsmouth winning League One. That is a big event in and of itself, only for us to get battered in the Championship in the last minute every week. But what are you going to do? We're still out of the relegation zone. We've got points in hand, games in hand, sorry. Why complain? It's all going to be all right. It's all going to be happy times. Obviously went to Rome, fell in love with a woman for about 2 minutes, and then, never saw her again, which is brutal. And yeah, it's been a year of growth, I'd say. A year of growth. How about you, Veronica?
I don't know how I'd describe it. I think it's been like probably one of the most pivotal years of my life, but I also did a lot of things that I wanted to do, so I kind of, I guess, prioritized having a good time rather than anything else. And it turned out great, actually. I don't regret anything. But yeah, I mean, because I graduated uni and I started work, I guess it's like an
Woo.
important year.
I won't add the clapping noises. That'd be a mistake.
Okay, yeah, good. Of course, I've said this a million times, but going to Venice again, London Film Festival was fun as well. Going to the Euros to Munich was one of the best experiences I think I've had. I went with my friend Ollie, and it was just so fun. Like, the atmosphere at events like that, at sporting events or whatever, is just like, it doesn't matter even if the game is bad. It's just like the group of people, like, everyone's just having fun, and there was like loads of games at the kind of Euros hub, so we played loads of football games and met loads of people, and it's just, yeah, it was great. Yeah, music festival, went to Poland, saw Dua Lipa, and that was great, but she's engaged now, so
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
I guess I have to forget
How'd you
about
feel
her
about
now.
that?
Well, I feel devastated.
Look, can I give you some hope?
Yeah.
Tammy Abraham, when he was younger, once tweeted out, "Football has a goalie. It doesn't mean you can't score."
That is true.
It's very true. Do you want to
That
keep
is
plugging
very
away?
true. Yeah. Well,
They do look very in love, though, which, I'll be honest, doesn't
which
give
I
you much of
hate.
a chance. Yeah.
That should be me. No, I'm joking, obviously. Anyway, let's get into what we're actually meant to be doing, which is listing off every single film we've watched released this year. Every film of 2024.
With some surprise additions to break it up, which we won't
Yep.
speak about until we
With
get there.
some fun little bits about the year.
So the way this is going to work, I've seen, how many have I seen? I've seen 51 films this year. I'm counting my UK release dates only that I've seen this year. Weronika, how many have you got, and how are you kind of selecting what counts and what doesn't?
I have about 76, but obviously some films that Jack has seen this year I will have seen last year at various festivals and stuff. So our lists, it's not that I haven't seen some of his films or he hasn't seen some of mine. We'll just jump in whenever you want to say something about a film that we had in a different year. But yeah, 76 for me.
So the way it's going to work is we're going to start with our bottom 10, starting from the worst film we saw that year. We'll go one at a time up to the 10th. And then after that, we'll do it by star rating. So I'll do all of my 2 stars, 2.5 stars, all the way up to the top 10. And then the top 10 will be done one at a time for suspense reasons. Weronika, do you want to go first? What is your worst film of 2024?
Okay, actually, I had a hard time choosing the absolute worst because there were 2 films in contention here. I was going through my list this morning, and I've decided that my worst film of 2024 is gonna be Borderlands, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, so I don't want to talk about it much again. But it really is that bad. Like, I cannot believe that people like this film, or that people don't even think it's awful. If you tell me that you don't think it's that awful, I just do not believe you. It's like, it's just a nothing film. The fact that I just don't have anything to say about it, which is why it's the worst film, because there are bad films that can still elicit a reaction, and I can still appreciate the fact that they gave me a reaction. That is not a bad film. But this one, just like, I'm struggling to find words for it. I don't even know what happened, and I played the game. So yeah, that's my worst film, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I guess I'll go through my bottom 10. So the film that was in contention for worst film, that narrowly escaped it, is the Jennifer Lopez film that accompanied her new album. It's on Amazon Prime if you really want to watch it. And it's called This Is Me ... Now. And I watched this with my friends, and we kept looking at how much time was left, because this shit is trash, okay? It's basically like going through her every song in her new album, which is already rubbish, and every song is rubbish. But then it's like a whole really long musical using songs from a rubbish album, and also clearly she spent loads of money on this, but then it still looks bad and everything that's out of place and nothing makes sense, and she comes across as someone who thinks she's really, really, really smart and really creative and really good at this. But then you're watching it and you're like, this is such a waste of money and resources and time, and I can't wait for this to be over. She just comes across so pretentious and, I don't know, egotistical. Yeah, I'd say this is a... I'm glad Ben Affleck has gotten out there, is what I'll say, if he has. And then the next two films are films that I saw at Venice this year. I've already talked about them, but I've gone with number 74 is My Birthday, which is that film about some guy whose mum left him in a home, and then he's like breakdancing and shit. Yeah, I don't want to talk about
You sound really passionate about this one.
Nah. All I said in my review was boring, because it was boring. And then the next one, number 73, is a film called January 2nd, again from Venice this year, about the woman who's like moving house, and I got baited into thinking it was going to be gay, and then it just wasn't even gay, so like couldn't even give it half a star for gayness. Yeah. Number 72 is the bro comedy attempt by Zac Efron, John Cena, and whoever else, called Ricky Stenicki, and it's just fucking hell, it is.
Yeah, I like this a bit more than you, but I do appreciate why you would hate it.
Is just none of it is funny, and that's it. It's just not funny. Number 71 is another film from Venice. Some of the films of Venice were really, really rubbish. It's a French film called Le Mohican. The Mohican, if you need me to translate. And it's about this guy who, like, is a goat farmer, and then he, like, kills some mafia guy, and then they all, like, chase him. And it's, like, this big chase. Like, it's kind of like Taken, but on goat farms in France.
Concept
yeah,
of that
rubbish.
film sounds far better than... Like, I'm not saying it sounds like an incredible film, but, like, there's something you could do with that idea.
Yeah,
right?
you can. But then they, like, turn it into this social media movement to save this guy. And it's like, nobody would care if you started a movement to save some goat farmer from the mafia, like, in real life. Like, no one would care. That would get 2 likes. Like, shut up. Number 70 is a film that I actually watched recently at Christmas, so I'll talk about it more in our next episode when we go through our recent watches, but it's a 1-star film called Christmas in the Spotlight, and it's basically that Christmas film about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a Lifetime film.
No, I don't tend to dabble with these. Is it kind of what, let's be honest, Catherine would watch?
Yes. And I'm sure she can't wait to watch it. But it is trash. I don't know why I keep saying trash. It's very American. I need to stop doing that.
You spend so much time with Hayley, aren't you? So it's kind of influencing your vernacular.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, I'll talk about that one more next episode. So I'll leave that. Number 69 is our last 1-star film. Well, my last 1-star film. The Mousetrap, which I watched when I was with my friends in Manchester, and it's a slasher horror film, but it's kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's. I think I've talked about it, where like that woman is working at this like arcade, and then for absolutely no reason there's a guy with a Mickey Mouse mask killing her and her friends, and there's like a hot blonde woman.
Is that the film where we got each other to do Mickey Mouse impressions?
Yes.
What an episode
do you
that was.
Want to do another one? Oh.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I did the exact
Yeah,
same impression
go for it.
again. Mickey Mouse. Oh. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
that
my
was
Mickey
really
Mouse
good.
impression.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got 3 films left in my bottom 10. So the next one is 1.5 stars. Number 68, Deadpool and Wolverine. I feel like some people have this higher, but I'm not one of those people. I've already talked about how much I hate it. Um, so I don't think there's any point in me going on about it because I know some people like it, and I don't want to make them upset. But it's unfunny, in a way that I don't think would have even been funny 10 years ago. It's just very kind of 10-year-old humor who thinks he's really cool for like watching South Park one night on E4 when their parents have gone to sleep and he's chuckling under his pillow. That's kind of how I imagine
That
humor
sounds like you're talking about
in
yourself a
this
little bit.
film.
You are aware of that, right?
Well, maybe me when I was like 10. Not now. Come on. Um, but yeah, uh, just rubbish. I don't want to talk about it anymore. 67 is this romantic comedy from Netflix called Upgraded. 1.5 stars, and it's about this woman who like falls in love with guy. I guess as like every romantic comedy, and I actually can't remember what happens. Um, I can't
Marissa
remember.
Tomei's in it. It's got like a weird cast. There's Camilla
Well,
Mendes, Archie Reno,
Camilla
and Marissa
Mendes.
Tomei.
I think Camilla Mendes is actually a good comedic actress. She was in Riverdale, okay, but like loads of people in Riverdale, and she was in this film before, Netflix comedy called Do Revenge, and she was actually pretty good in that. I was surprised at how good she was. So she needs like a better agent or something. Her films are not great. So Camilla, like, sort it out because this film was rubbish. So Upgraded is my number 67. 66, which is my final 1.5 star film as well, so it ends quite nicely here. 66 is Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. I just like it's just sad watching a film like this when you know how good the SpongeBob movie is. Because this is just not great. It's not very funny. I know it's made for children, but that's not an excuse for animated films or films made for kids. They should still be accessible to adults, and they should still be funny for everyone. It's not like absolutely, really bad. It's just forgettable, and there's these like live action sequences that I think really bring it down. I don't like when films like this do live action sequences for kind of no reason. It works in a SpongeBob movie because it's David Hasselhoff, and that whole bit where they're in the real world works so well. You have to be good at it. If you do it badly, it just looks really bad. And I think in this it was just really not needed. It's on Netflix if anyone has kids and wants them to shoot themselves. But yeah, that's my bottom 10.
So into my bottom 10 now. And the worst film I've seen this year, and I think it's one of the worst films I've ever seen, full stop. And what I will say before I actually get onto my full list, I'm not sure if Veronica agrees because it's very subjective. I think this has been a great year for film. I think it's been fantastic. I think it's been I mean, there's been a lot of, talk about AI and kind of laziness and spin offs and whatever, but I think there's been so many brilliant original films from a range of directors, a range of genres, some actors, some like really like young actors coming through. As well as some like big blockbuster films that have made a lot of money, which I know that sounds superficial, but it's important for the industry that blockbusters make a lot of money because otherwise the industry will stop. But the worst film I've seen this year, and the only film I've got half a star, is Unfrosted by Jerry Seinfeld. Um, there's nothing good about this film. It's unfunny. It looks shit. It's boring. That's the worst part. It's really boring. The only good element of it was there's a cameo in it from a TV show that I've not watched, but I thought it was quite cool, quite like that. And Bill Burr plays JFK in it, which is quite funny. But yeah, that's a really bad film. And Seinfeld, I like the TV show Seinfeld. I've not seen all of it, but I like it. George Costanza's great. I think Kramer's Friends great. Elaine's great. The worst part of Seinfeld is Seinfeld, and it's just an excuse for Jerry Seinfeld to be himself, and himself is a wanker. Now on to number 9, or the second worst one was in the show. Irish Wish, starring I think Lindsay Lohan. Can't quite remember. Ed Speleers and other people. This is just a lazy. This on 1 star as well. Next couple are on 1 star. This is a lazy bastardization of Irish culture. Awfully edited. Looks shit. Unfunny. Lazy. The positives that gave it extra half star of Unfrosted. Ed Speleers is pretty fun. He was in You season 4 and 3, maybe I can't remember. He's really good. Yeah, season 4. That was it. Season 4. He's really good because he's a good actor. And there was a David Bowie needle drop that was quite nice. Apart from that, got nothing going for it. Next up is Damsel, starring Millie Bobby Brown. Just again, a lot of films in my bottom 10 lazy, boring. It felt like a lazy rehash of. It's basically it's like a princess gets married off and there's a big dragon and a pit or something. I don't know. This film was so boring that I was checking the runtime. I remember clocking it. I checked it 12 minutes into the film. It had like an hour and a half left. Bad. Next up is Poor
Wait,
Man.
Can we just say congratulations to Millie for getting married this year? We send our best wishes. And also, Stranger Things after season 1 is trash. Anyway,
Never seen it, never will see it. Next up is Poor Man. Poor Man, famously the film that I gave an extra half a star to because the cast looked like they were having fun and they were having a good time. It looked like a good set to be on. It wasn't massively funny. It wasn't as deep as it was. Basically, it's like a stoner noir, so along the lines of like Inherent Vice, Big Lebowski, The Long Goodbye. It just didn't really work as a film. Bit naff. And my last 1 star, and I'll be honest, this is a film that if I rewatch it, I think it could get up to 2.5 maybe, because my 2.5s are kind of either bad but fun or boring, and kind of just plain. Last 1 star, and this is a film that's basically impossible to rate. It's impossible. And one of the weirdest cinema experiences of my life, Megalopolis.
No!
Yeah, it's a bad film. It's a really bad film. But I appreciate
not.
this. I appreciate the swings. What's your opinion? I appreciate the swings that Coppola took. But someone should have swung at him and broke his jaw when he was groping women. Next up on my 1.5 is The Underdogs, starring Snoop Dogg. It's like a sports comedy. It made me laugh a few times, but it is objectively a really bad film. And then we've got a couple that are quite disappointing. Next up is Beetlejuice, which I watched, I think, this month. Again, just a lazy rehash of the original, where the first act is like an hour long, and the film is an hour and 40 in total. It just takes ages to get going. But Michael Keaton is undeniably, he's great in it, because he's great in the first one. So yeah, and my last 1.5 star is If, which I saw last week. Ryan Reynolds actually puts in quite a decent performance in it, as does Katie Fleming. John Krasinski's okay, but this is a film that is simultaneously trying too hard and not trying hard enough. What I mean by that is the voice actors for all of the imaginary friends. It's some of the laziest voice acting I've ever seen. I mean, Steve Carell and George Clooney are especially bad. Bradley Cooper did okay, kind of did his rocket voice, but at least he was trying. They kind of just sound like they're calling up the voice people and just talking. There's no inflection, there's no effort. But then behind the camera, it felt overly earnest. There was an overuse of the score. It was like trying to make you cry all the time, but undeserved. It just, yeah, not a good film at all. But Ryan Reynolds is decent. And he had a good relationship with the young co-star Katie Fleming, which is good to see. And my penultimate worst film, now up to 2 stars, next to my only 2 stars of the year. It's Drive-Away Dolls, starring Margaret Qualley, directed by one of the Coens. Can't remember which Coen. Yes, it's Ethan Coen.
I love you, Margaret Qualley.
Yeah, I think Margaret Qualley's had one of the best years.
I agree.
Yeah, she's great, but this film is not great. It's it's really badly edited. I found it pretty unfunny. It maybe wasn't my kind of humor. Just like a lot of dildo humor. Um, but there was some moments where I didn't mind it. Kind of mad that he directed No Country for Old Men and then directed this. It's interesting. And then my last one, my only other two-star, and this is one of the more disappointing films of the year for me. Is Ryan Gosling's The Fall Guy, co-starring Emily Blunt and others. This I went into cinema not with like massive expectations, but I was expecting maybe like a 6, 7 out of 10, quite funny, quite inoffensive. Didn't work at all. I didn't care for Gosling's performance. I mean, he was fun, but like he was, I don't know. Gosling and Blunt were okay actually, when I kind of think back to it. But the script is terrible. It's ugly, unfunny. So yeah, not as fun. But before we get on to the rest of our rankings, dun dun dun, intermission time. We're going to do our Spotify/Apple Music ranked because I'm an Apple Music boy because of the student bundle. Although I don't really need to do that anymore, but here we are. Veronica, do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Well, I can go first. I'll just go through my top 10 most played songs, and then I'll go with my top 3 artists. So, my most played songs, number 1 is... I do wonder, like, how many songs of mine you'll know, and
I
how many
reckon go
songs
for
of
number
yours
10.
I'll know.
Go from number 10, I
Because
reckon.
I think we have completely different music tastes, and
I'd
we
agree
don't
so.
really talk about music.
We hate music on this podcast.
Yeah, so, right, my most played song is actually from a soundtrack. It's... Listen, this show is bad, but the music from it is really, really good. It's from the show The Idol, and the soundtrack is obviously by The Weeknd, and it's really good. And the song is One of the Girls. It's by The Weeknd, Jenny, and Lily Rose, who is in Nosferatu right now, killing it apparently. Yeah, the song is just really good, like sensual R&B kind of music. Really, really good, really recommended. And the Idol soundtrack is great if you don't watch the show. Second is Mrs. by Dominic Fike. It's a very short song, like 2 minutes, and I don't like that because it should be longer because it's really fucking good. And he's the guy who like plays the guitar in Euphoria season 2 for ages, and then everyone hated it. I don't know if you know. Third
Yeah, I know
one is
Dominic Fike.
actually
I'm down with the kids, mate. I'm down
his
with the kids.
music's good. Yeah, you're actually younger than me, which is crazy.
Yeah, you're really old, so that's a you problem. So
My third most played song is actually, I was so surprised by this. It's a country song, I guess. It's I Remember Everything by Zach Bryan and Casey
that
Musgraves.
is such a fucking banger.
That song is so good.
I love country music.
It just this year I've started listening to more country music, and Zach Bryan is great, actually.
Yeah, he's got a song. Just quick, it's not on my top 10, but he's got a song called "American Nights" that was in his last
I haven't
album.
heard that one.
Oh, it's just
I
exceptional.
like Pink
So good.
Skies as well. I've recently been
Have
listening
you
to
heard
Pink Skies.
it's Something in the Orange? That's a good Zach Bryan
Yes.
song.
Oh, that's one of my favorite songs. That's
Zach
oh my
Bryan
god, he
podcast.
is great. Zach Bryan, we love you. I'm surprised that you've also been listening to country music.
Well,
Okay.
my dad, so just quick, my dad loves country music,
Yeah.
so I kind of listened to a bit of it growing up. Like Garth Brooks, that was kind of my bag when I was younger. Yeah, carry on.
I've only really given it a chance this year, but yeah, my third most played song there is because it's just oh god, it's just kind of depressing, but it's great. Fourth is the complete opposite of that. It's the Guess remix by Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish because it's just a banger.
Fucking
And I listened to it loads for like a week, like just non-stop. And it was like during summer, I think. So yeah, I was on the Brat album the whole time. Next song is Favorite by Fontaines DC. Absolute banger. Their album this year was great. I'm actually wearing the Bohemians kit with Fontaines DC on it, which is I got for Christmas. So
I know there's quite a few people on Twitter got that kit. It's check it out. It's a lovely, lovely shirt.
yeah, it's really nice. Next is Roller Coaster by the Bleachers. I don't know if you know the Bleachers, but Jack Antonoff is the singer in that band.
That actually links into
He's
my Grammy.
married to Margaret Qualley. So I'm very jealous of him because I listened to a few of their songs and they're actually also pretty good. So, okay, Jack Antonoff, you're like pretty cool. Next is Bound 2 by Kanye because it's one of the best songs ever. Next is Nights Like This by Kid Laroi, which again, like, it's a really short song with Spray White's on here, but it's just kind of like it's a good like driving song. You know, it is like a good nighttime drive song. Um, but there's nothing really going for it. It's like just good for replayability, I guess. Number 9 is Under Your Spell by Desire, which I feel like it's in the Drive soundtrack. Again, it's like a nighttime vibe song, and it's kind of depressing, but it's good for when you're depressed. Number 10 is Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae, because Addison Rae is on the up. Invest into Addison Rae coin. I don't think that's a thing,
It shouldn't be
but
either, because we'd have to
she
cover it.
will be. She will be big. Her music is good, and yeah, that's it. That's wait, no, my most played artist. Shit. Top 3: The Weeknd, which it has been The Weeknd for every year since I got Spotify because I'm a massive The Weeknd fan. Second was Kanye because his old music is really good. I'm sorry. And 3 was Charlie because, well, Charlie XCX because, you know, like I was listening to Brat and Brat Remix and whatever throughout the whole of summer. Yeah, that's it. That's my music recap.
Cool. I'll go from 10 to 1 just to mix it up. Number 10 is Better Way to Live by Kneecap, featuring
Oh,
Green
absolute
Chan,
banger.
Fontaine's DC banger. Number 9 and number 8 will do together. It's number 9 is Von Dutch by Charlie XCX, and number
Banger.
8 is the Mean Girls remix featuring Julian Casablancas because I'm a big
Ooh,
The Strokes fan.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I've started listening to the original a bit more. Very good. Number 7 is a country song. It's Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton, just a classic.
I haven't heard that one.
It's a really good song. I remember I was in a pub in Southampton a couple of months ago. I had a few pints, so I was a bit wavy, and I walked into the toilet, and You Should Probably Leave. Not You Should Probably Leave. Tennessee Whiskey was playing, and there was a great toilet experience. That sounds weird. Anyway, number 6 is Starburster by Fontaine's DC.
Banger.
Yeah, it's probably my second favorite album of the year. Tied first, I'd say. Next up, number 5, another country song is You Should Probably Leave by Chris Stapleton. I love Chris Stapleton, great musician. And number 4 is Favorite by Fontaine's DC.
Nice. Okay, so we share one at least.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Number 3 is my favorite Fontaine's DC song of the year. Is Bug. I think it's sensational. Just perfectly written, perfectly performed, immaculate. Number 2 is another country song. It is You Look Like You Love Me by Ella Langley featuring Riley Green. That is just like the quintessential country song of the year. It's
I need to listen to it.
yeah, it's cheesy as fuck. It's about a woman who walks into a bar and she's she's on a bit of a dry run, shall we say? And she sees this guy and she goes up to him and says, "You look like you love me." And my number 1 played song of the year, and weirdly, it's my only Bob Dylan song on it. I've listened to a lot of Bob this year. Really getting into him. It's Like a Rolling Stone from Highway 61 Revisited. Not my favorite Bob Dylan song, weirdly. It's probably Queen Jane approximately is probably my favorite Bob Dylan song, but that is my top 10. I'll quickly run through a couple of other bits. As I said, I'm an Apple Music boy, so I've had to, I'll get to that later. Number 1 genre of the year is alternative because I love the Strokes. Number 1 album of the year is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. Probably tied with Romance by Fontaine's DC, to be honest. And some of my top artists: Fontaine's DC, Bob Dylan, Kendrick Lamar, Charlie XCX, Ella Langley. So I think I've not listened to loads of new music this year. But
I just want to say real quick,
go on.
because it's not in any of my Spotify Wrapped, because I think it came out too late, but Tyler, the Creator's album, Chromacopia, is so good. And I've been listening to it a lot lately.
Just
but
on
I
that,
don't think
actually, because you mentioned Tyler,
would have shown up.
Spark some a bit of imagination. Can Frank Ocean please hurry the fuck up and release a new record? Because it's been too long.
That's not
Frankie
happening.
Boy.
He's lazy.
Yeah, I know. And that Coachella performance, was it last year?
Yeah.
Oof,
Yeah.
terrible. I have got both his records on vinyl actually, so that's cool. Now back to the films. What star rating are you currently up to? What's the last star
I'm
rating you
starting
did?
my 2-star films now.
Okay, so you do your twos, and then I'll do my 2.5s. Then we'll go from there.
Okay. So I'm gonna skip 65 because there's some films that I've watched that aren't really films. They're more like either documentaries or limited series. So I don't
Yeah,
rate them.
that does
So I
not
just put
count.
them at
That does not
random.
count.
Yeah, I just put them at random places. So I'm gonna skip it. Um. So 64 is a film that I recently watched and I talked about on the podcast. Your Monster. About that woman who is a theatre actress and there's a monster living in her house and he comes out and they fall in love and it's fucked up. Fucked up as in like it's just bad. To be honest, should probably be lower than 2 stars, but Melissa Barrera is not bad in it, I guess. And yeah, let's move on. 63 is again a film I watched recently. I talked about it on the podcast twice because the first time I watched it, couldn't get through it. It's the animated film Look Back that like so many people have rated 5 stars. It's an average of 4.3 on Letterboxd. I don't know how. I don't get it. I did not cry. I didn't find it wholesome. It was just boring. But 2 stars because I guess animation's kind of nice sometimes. Next 2-star film, number 62, Jack's already talked about Beetlejuice. Yeah, it's not good. I haven't watched the first one, but it makes me not want to watch the
The
first
first one
one.
is actually quite funny. I don't think I've got it at like a
Ugh.
3.5. It's
It
more Michael
just
Keaton and more than funny. It's good.
yeah, he's the only good part of the film. And who's that woman?
No, Monica Bellucci is not good in that film.
Monica Bellucci.
She's
I absolutely love her.
Sorry, I should have touched on this really because I've not reviewed it properly on the podcast. Monica Bellucci, as much as I love her, and I think we picked up the fact she looks incredible at age 60 or whatever.
She really does.
Her and Willem Dafoe do not need to be in this film, and it just wastes so much time. Anyway, what's
But
next?
if they weren't, I would have given it way lower because I like them both.
Yeah.
Anyway, next is another film that I recently watched. Is 61. We Live in Time, and I got shit for giving it 2 stars, but didn't make me cry. It didn't make me feel much. I hated the editing. Well, not the editing. The way that they ordered stuff out of order.
Non-linear narrative.
The non-linear narrative, exactly. I didn't like it. It didn't work. I don't know the performances. Like, were they really that good? It just felt like they were both acting, and I think especially in the film where you're meant to, have your heartstrings pulled out by the actors and the script was probably the worst part of the film. Really kind of unnatural writing, and then the actors had no chemistry, in my opinion anyway. It just felt like they were acting, and if it doesn't work in a film like this that is meant to make you cry, none of it is going to work, and so none of it worked for me. But I understand if it worked for you, you like the film. It's just that all the things that are bad about it are kind of magnified if I don't have an emotional connection. Okay, next film. Boy Kills World, which on Letterboxd counts as 2023, but it came out in the UK in 2024, so I watched it in 2024 at the cinema. And I feel like this film is just kind of 2 stars because it was disappointing. I actually like the trailer. I like Bill Skarsgård and Jessica Roth, who I've already talked about before. I think they're both good actors that should be picking better projects. But this one did have potential on paper, because this is the one where, like, there's this kid and he's like trained by a guy in the jungle, and he's deaf and mute, and then he kind of becomes this like a really good fighter, and then he like goes to kill his family, and it's kind of like a video game. Like do you remember me talking about it before? It's like a video game, kind of action film.
I think
it could have been a lot better.
live in the podcast. My mic has become disconnected and was refusing to reconnect, so I'm currently doing it on my earphones. Is the audio level okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
it
cool.
sounds fine.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. So that film, it's like a video game action-y film. Like, I think it's quite fun, but I'm disappointed at how mis kind of misused the actors are, because I think they're both really good. The script is just fucking bad. My last two star film of the year, again, is so disappointing because I feel like I've seen like teasers for it for so long, and I love Hunter Schafer, and it's Cuckoo. It was just boring. I didn't like the plot. Um, like, she just goes to the Alps to her family, and then there's like visions that she has and weird noises, but it's just boring. There's just nothing to it except Hunter Schafer. And Hunter Schafer gets you 2 stars, the rest gives you 0, so yeah, like, do better, I think. And Hunter, please pick better films, because I do want to watch you more. Wait, that sounds weird. Let's move on.
No, I also want to watch Hunter more, so no, I think it's okay. I think it's acceptable. Now into my 2.5 stars, and there's quite a few 2.5 star films for me this year. Starting with Upgraded, which Veronica touched on. I liked it a bit more than her. I've got it in my kind of my shit but good ranking. Not shit but good, shit but fun. It was entertaining enough. I kind of knew what I was getting into when I got into it. Just can't complain too much. Next up is Am I Okay, starring Dakota Johnson. It's like a gay discovery film. I'm not sure if that's the right word for it. Wasn't massively funny for a film that was set out to be a comedy. But yeah, it's kind of crap and disappointing, but it was quite
Wait,
quick.
I watched
Go on.
that film and I forgot to add it to my ranking.
Where would it sit for you? Still on the fly.
I
Where would it sit?
guess, I guess 2.5. I guess where I just ended. Yeah, it was nothing special.
Yeah. Next up is Spaceman, starring Adam Sandler. And Paul Dano. I was actually really excited for this. It's kind of right up my alley. I know Mike Quill loves it. Our first ever guest on the podcast, but this was pretty boring, to be honest. I was disappointed by it. It was kind of like a rehash of things like Interstellar and um, 2001, but without the I don't know, the originality. So yeah, disappointing. And then next up is Woman of the Hour, starring and directed by Anna Kendrick. Disappointing. I saw a lot of people big it up, and although there were some flashes in there that I thought, yeah, Anna Kendrick's got a bit, and she can be a decent director. I found the editing to be pretty annoying. Performances were fine. The narrative was pretty safe and bland. It just felt like an episode of, I don't know, Mindhunter, but not as good in the way it was shot, which makes sense. It was a Netflix original. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. It's not really my thing. And my next 2.5, God, there's a lot of 2.5 stuff this year. Is Ricky Stenicki. It worked a little bit more for me than for Veronica. I like the car. I thought John Cena was pretty fun. But ultimately, yeah, not a great film. Next up is Scoop, the story of the unveiling. That's not right. The Prince Andrew film that I think Netflix put out. There was a few Prince Andrew films this year, but this is one with Emily, not Emily May. That was a person with Gillian Anderson. It's just fine, bit safe. Next up is one of my more bigger disappointments of the year. It was the bike. Gone. Yeah, go on. Next up is The Bike Riders, starring Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer. I was really excited for this. This is a date night film, and my relationship ended fairly soon after. So that's how bad the film was. And my last 2.5 star is a film that I don't know, I think it was shit, but it was so shit but true to itself that I respect it. It is Roadhouse, the Roadhouse remake, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor and
They
that
worked
one
it out on
guy.
the remix.
Yeah, they worked out on the remix. Yeah, a film that's crap, but really entertaining. yeah, Veronica, into your two and a halves.
Okay. First 2.5 film is one that you've already talked about, Drive Away Dolls. I had it at 2.5. Like you said, it was like okay, it was disappointing, it wasn't funny, but I gave it 2.5 because Margaret quality hot. Next one, 2.5 stars, Late Night with the Devil. Um, Kind of old school horror thing, the live broadcast late night talk show horror thing. But it wasn't good enough to get away with the fact that they used AI, and I don't care about it enough. So they can suck
Anti-AI
my
podcast.
dick. Exactly. Suck my dick, you get 2.5, and actually should have been lower because fuck you for doing that. Next film, I actually have as 2 stars, but my ratings don't really make sense. Because it is a 2-star film, but I also liked it because it was so stupid and fun, and also the director of the film replied to my Letterboxd review in the comments. It's Murderitaville, guys, and Mr. Dale, the director, Paul Dale, did say that his next film is coming soon, and I cannot wait. Paul, come on the
We
podcast,
get
please.
on the podcast. Yeah.
I found absolutely no way of contacting him. I've looked, and I don't want to buy IMDb Pro to get his number. So, yeah, that probably won't happen. But yeah, we love him on the podcast unless he does something that's cancelable because I don't know him. Next is Rebel Ridge, the Netflix action thriller film with Aaron Pierre, who is pretty good. But his eyebrows are kind of crazy. I just noticed. His eyebrows are like constantly sus, you know? Yeah, he's always like frowning. They have a very high arch.
Aaron Pierre's arch. Aaron Pierre, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Aaron
Okay.
Pierre. I got worried there because I thought Aaron Pierre was a footballer. I was like,
Yeah, it
that's
does
not the same
sound like
Aaron.
football. Um, Speaking of footballers, can we get Timothy Chalamet on the podcast because he like supports San Etienne and he played
He
against Joe
loves,
Gomez? Can
yeah, he
we
loves
make
Butterfinger
this
Gomez.
happen? Can we please make this happen?
Question, just
Someone out
interrupt the
there?
podcast. Have you seen the Nardwuar interview in full?
No, but I really want to. I've saved
I
it.
watched it last night. It's so
I
good.
love him. I love
He's
Timothy
just
Chalamet.
he's just shooting the shit. He's fucking great. Is Timmy.
We need to talk to him. We have to. Someone make it happen. Anyway, yeah, Rebel Ridge. I don't want to talk that. Blah blah blah. It's just mid. It's a Netflix film. Next one, Wicked Little Letters, 2.5. I had high expectations for it than what it was. I really like Jessie Buckley.
We all love Jessie Buckley on this podcast for
Yeah,
many different
I
reasons.
really do. I do love Jessie Buckley. She's a very good actress. Olivia Colman as well, obviously. They're just not used to their full potential. I think they would be both good in a comedy, just maybe not this one because it's kind of mid. Yeah, you can't let a cast carry like bad writing or a boring plot, really. But like, it's mid. It's 2.5. It's not rubbish, so I still recommend it. It's on Netflix. Yeah. Anyway, also like just saying swear words doesn't make it funny. Next one, 53 is 2.5. Saturday Night. I don't think you've seen it yet.
No, because I'm not an illegal little boy.
I'm not either. I saw it at London Film Festival.
Oh, did you?
Obviously.
Right.
Yeah, it was the
Perfect.
surprise film. Which I don't know why it was a surprise film in England because like it's very American. And I think most people didn't know anything about Saturday Night Live. I don't like Nicholas Braun. I'll repeat it again.
It's a cat film.
Yeah. I just found it quite boring, and I think they tried too hard with the direction and the cinematography and stuff. But the main guy, Gabriel LaBelle, he's pretty good. Anyway, next film, 2.5, film called Problemista, or Problemista. I don't know. whatever accent you want that to be, that's what it was. It's like a very experimental. It's directed by Julio Torres, who also plays the main character, and has Tilda Swinton. I think it's better than 2.5 stars. It's just there was something missing for me that didn't keep me interested. But I do. If he releases another film, I'll watch it because he does some cool stuff in it as a director, and I think he wrote it as well. Anyway, 51 is it's about this guy who wants to work for a toy company, and Tilda Swinton's his like boss when he's trying to save up money to get into that job, or something like that. Anyway, 51 is Skincare by Austin Peters, director. But the most important thing about it is that Elizabeth Banks plays the main character, who it's kind of like the Joker for middle-aged women who live in LA and get Botox, and yeah, I'd say that's probably enough of a description. Number 50 is I Saw the TV Glow. I feel like this should be higher. It will probably be higher on rewatch. It's just that when I saw it for the first time, I expected it to be different than what it was. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like a horror film, but it's not.
Is it not a horror film?
No, exactly. I'm like, everyone thinks it's a horror film, and I thought it was a horror film. So I guess I was kind of spoiling it not being horror. I just wasn't ready for a film that was like introspective and more about being human and growing up and gender identity and things. I just wasn't ready for that. I think I wasn't ready for it in the moment, and I rate things of how I felt in the moment. And in the moment, I just felt like I felt stupid because I needed to read about it afterwards, and I'll probably rewatch it when I'm in a better mind space. But yeah, it's not a horror film. Maybe that will make some people more interested in watching it. But I know a lot of people really love it and like give it 5 stars, so I do recommend it. Next, I only have 3 films left in this section. Next is The Outrun, directed by Nora Fingshide.
Nailed that pronunciation.
I don't want to say that. That sounds weird.
Next up,
Nora
ruin the
Fingshide.
star's name.
And starring Saoirse Ronan. It's based on a book, an autobiography about a woman who struggled with alcoholism and her recovery. And it's probably better than 2.5 stars. I just think it was a little bit boring. That's it, really. I was, Saoirse Ronan's good, but like she's always good. And I just don't think this should have been made into a film. I've already talked about it. But I just think it's hard to make a film out of a book that is, again, non-linear, and I don't really like non-linear storytelling in films. I don't think it works that well. Well, it depends on the film, obviously. It can work. It just didn't work here.
It's harder to get right than a linear narrative, so you kind of very much high risk, high reward.
Exactly. So, the penultimate 2.5 star film, Jack will be upset, but it is Twisters.
I'm not upset.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was, I guess it was fine. I love Glenn Powell. Daisy Edgar Jones. I don't know. I
like her, but not in that film.
Yeah.
She's the weakest part of the cast.
Yeah, yikes. And the chemistry's not there, so don't really care. But the Glen Powell, I love you. Next one, last one of this bit, is a film that I saw during Christmas, so I will talk about it in further detail next episode. But it is the new Lindsay Lohan Christmas film called Our Little Secret, which I actually think I rated quite highly, to put it here above so many other films that people probably like more. But, like, listen, I had maybe a half a litre of Bailey's, maybe, and some mulled wine. So I was watching it and I was just feeling happy, and it was like it was actually just a fun little Christmas film, romantic comedy thing. And yeah, I thought it was cute. So yeah, but listen, Catherine gave it 3.5, and
You
she is like
cannot
an
trust. You
expert.
cannot
She's
trust
an
Catherine's
expert
rating
in,
system.
but she is an expert in Christmas films. So
Mm,
you know, fair enough.
she's not critical enough.
All right. Anyway, yeah, right. That's mine done. You do yours now.
On to my 7 3-star films. Common theme with these, mainly just things that I thought were good, but not as good as I needed them to be, or where the concept is probably better than the execution. Anyway, number 33 is I Used to Be Funny, starring Rachel Sennett, who I love. I think Weronika loves Rachel Sennett as well. Who doesn't? Story of a stand-up comedian struggling with PTSD and depression and all that jazz. I thought it was good. I thought it probably could have been better, but I think Rachel Sennett's all right in it. Next up is Wicked Little Letters. Again, it was funny enough, but I wasn't rolling around laughing. Yeah, I thought the performances were all right. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of the script is okay. I thought people probably did quite a good job. Anyway, next up is Wolves. That's the hardest film title of the year to say. Is Wolves, starring George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Again, idea better than the execution. It was all right. I was entertained by it, but not blown away. Bit disappointed by it, to be honest. Um, Next up is Monkey Man. I think this is maybe one of my hotter film takes of the year. I think it's a good film. I do think it's a good. I think Dev Patel's good and will be a very good director and should play James Bond, by the way. But I don't know. I wasn't the most engaged with it, but I thought that there were some fun flourishes. But then it kind of took so long to get to it, and then it was kind of over before it even started. So yeah, it worked for other people more than me. Next up is similar, to be honest, is Love Lies Bleeding. Kind of a similar genre, to be honest, like a revenge thriller type thing. I didn't love all of the choices by the director in terms of like the style, in terms of the supernatural elements and just certain elements of the plot didn't fully work for me. The third act really didn't work for me, but the first 40 minutes I thought was really good. Two of the performances, I can't remember the people, but they were great. And next up is Heretic, another film that I thought the first half of the film was exceptional. It was probably on for like a 4, to be honest. I think this is Hugh Grant's best performance to date. And actually, that's a good segue. So I can't remember if I said it about it last time or on the podcast recently, but my auntie went to school with Nicholas Hoult. She famously made a paper mache mask of his face in it for an art project. They weren't mates or anything. They talked a couple of times, but that was my first Nicholas Hoult story. And I have an exclusive second Nicholas Hoult story. Veronica, are you ready for the exclusive Nicholas Hoult story? She's overawed with
Yes.
excitement. So Nicholas Hoult, I think his first film role when he was a wee lad, was in About a Boy with Hugh Grant. I've not seen the film, but there is a scene in it where he's walking down a school corridor. There's a woman, like I don't know, like a 17-year-old girl in front of him, way older than him by like 7 years, and he's singing the song "Shake Your Ass," and she like confronts him about it. And yeah, basically what happened is when he got older and went to school, he used to walk down the corridor between lessons, and people used to just sing the song "Shake Your Ass" at him, and he got really upset by it and a bit annoyed. So that is the second exclusive Nicholas Hoult story. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get any more out of my auntie, but we will see.
Nicholas, please come on the podcast. We will promote Nosferatu. Come on.
Yeah, and I have knowledge that he isn't a dickhead, and he was never a dickhead. He was just fine. So good news, Holt fans, not a dickhead. And my last 3-star film, again, is Gladiator 2. I originally had this at a 3.5 star.
Damn.
I originally had it at a 3.5 star, but I don't know. It just didn't really. The more I thought about it, the less it worked. I still I know you didn't love it, but I think Paul Mescal's performance. I don't think it's a great performance or even a good. I think it's like a 5 out of 10 performance. I think he's slightly disrespected. I think the script is the issue and the editing is the issue. In that there's I mean there's a whole character missing. We won't get back to that because we've talked ad nauseum about it. But there is like a third of a film missing, and it just kind of jumps from plot point to plot point with no real care. But Denzel's
And
great.
Ridley
So,
Scott is washed.
sure. Actually, I watched Kingdom of Heaven recently. That is a really great Ridley
But
Scott
he's
film. You'd hate it.
washed.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I prefer Tony Scott anyway. But yeah, it's my 3 stars. Veronica, your 3-star films.
I prefer Alex Scott. Wait, you know what? I don't even know which one I meant there, whether I meant the former footballer or the commentator, so I'm just gonna go with none of them. Okay, 3-star, my 3-star films. At number 46 is a film, again, that I watched recently. Haven't reviewed yet, I will review next episode. 46 is Venom: The Last Dance, which is the third of the Venom trilogy. I actually haven't watched the first two. So I've gone further than my not watching the first out of 2 films trend, and I've actually only watched the third out of 3 films this time. I thought it was actually quite nice. I was pretty good. Like 3 stars is pretty good for a film like this, especially a newer superhero film. I thought the ending was cute, even though I didn't like the needle drop because it's a really bad Maroon 5 song. I think it's way better than Deadpool versus Wolverine, so it takes that crown. Fuck you, Ryan Reynolds. I forgot his surname then. The only bad thing really is it has too many actors from Ted Lasso. It has 2 actors from Ted Lasso, but that is too much for a film. It should have maximum 1. So yeah, but it was like, I think Tom Hardy's good, and I had a good time watching it, which is surprising. I was surprised at how much I liked it. Next one is Strange Darling, which is a horror film that got a lot of praise from people online, and I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll go watch it. And I think the actors, Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Golner, do a really good job. And actually, Kyle is active on Twitter, so I think you should DM him, Jack, and ask him to come on the podcast, to be honest.
I have to do that? Why you want him on?
Because you have like 5,000 followers. So,
Oh, yeah,
he might think you're respectable. You're a respectable
I'm not.
man.
Little does he know.
Well, can you DM him now, and then we'll see if he replies.
What's his name?
Kyle Golner. Kyle, Gallner. Well, DM him and we'll see if he replies. Or reply to one of his tweets and say, "Come on my podcast, please."
Oh, let me click the. I can't DM him because I'm not verified.
Oh, or just reply to his last tweet and beg.
I'll at him directly.
Yeah, exactly, and I'll retweet.
Who is this guy?
He's in the film Strange Darling. He's like the main guy, the lead actor. Well, anyway, I think it's a really good film. And I was gonna give it higher, but then there's that one scene with the 2 cops.
Right, I've found really weird. We'll see how it goes.
There's just this one scene that I think I maybe misinterpreted, but like I couldn't stop thinking about the way that I interpreted it, and it just gave me like a bitter taste about the film and the ending. But the performances are great, direction is really cool. Yeah. Next film I watched at London Film Festival. Unfortunately, it stars Shamik Moore. The Gutter.
3 cheers to Josh Allen. Hip hip.
Hooray.
No cheers.
I want to lower the rating just because Shamik Moore, but obviously that wouldn't be fair. Because when I watched the film, I thought he was quite funny, and I don't know, I thought it worked, and it was like a nice comedy. It's just like a stupid comedy, but it works, about bowling, and obviously we are experts at sports, so I got invited to watch this early. Um, the less we say about Shamik more, the better, I think. So let's just move on. So the next one that I have without a rating, but I just put it in there, and I'll talk about it next episode. Is A Nonsense Christmas with Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina,
Sorry. I thought you said
what?
a nonces Christmas. I was like, fucking, what are you even watching?
No.
Jesus.
No. Okay. It was really cute, and I have gained a newfound appreciation and attraction. Let's move on. Next is. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, those are all my freestyle films. I don't know why I'm carrying on. Actually, okay, those are not all my freestyle films. I'm lying. But
What?
the way in which I rate films is like I will have films with a higher rating in lower positions than other films with a lower rating.
That is so unbelievably stupid.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it goes. But anyway, the next film was a 3.5 star film, so I have to stop here. But that's not my last freestyle film. Anyway, let's move on.
Now, at number 26, is obviously my 3.5. When I first watched this film, it got 4.5 out of 5. Veronica, what film am I about to discuss?
Oh, that's too hard. Oh my, I don't know.
Shall I put you out your misery?
Furiosa? No, it's not Furiosa.
No, Furious is sick.
It is. Madam Web.
It is. Yeah, it's Madam Web. No, I've not seen that. It is Deadpool Wolverine. Has been bumped down to a 3.5.
Thank
because
God.
I stand by certain positives, and it was an unbelievable cinema experience. It was. I had a great time watching it. And I think there's a lot
surrounded by incels and 12-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. What more could you want? Not the 12-year-olds, actually. That sounds a bit nonsense. I was entertained by it, and I think Hugh Jackman's pretty good in it. But it was one of them where kind of, and this is the case with a lot of my 4-star films. There's a few 4-star films that used to be 4.5s or even 5s. So I'll get to that later. The more I think about it, the less it works. But
and Ryan Reynolds is a dickhead, and I'm calling him right now. I do not like you.
It's fair. Anyway, moving on. Next up is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I saw this in cinema with my dad. I thought this was pretty good. A bit bloated, and the pacing was a bit off, but on the whole, I thought it was a decent addition to the franchise. Next up is Civil War. Kind of like baby's first war film. Alex Garland was kind of paint by numbers. It was all right. There was some great cinematography actually. Performances were okay, but ultimately I wanted a bit more from it. Next up is Blink Twice. First half of the film exceptional. Last act not so good.
I honestly thought you were about to say Blink 182.
Blink.
I was so
that's my number one. Yeah. You got nonsense.
Shout out Blink 182, I love you. Yeah, I was listening to I Miss You yesterday, like full blast while driving home at midnight from work on the motorway.
Impression.
Don't waste your time, mommy, you're already the ghost inside my head. I miss you.
It's an exceptional impersonation. But next up is a film I saw in the cinema recently and was, again, first half great, second half not so much. It was Queer, starring Daniel Craig and Drew Starkey, directed by
Jack,
Luca
you're actually
Guadagnino.
homophobic. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, I'm just going to bump it down to a half a star just to really turn the knife. I don't know, I thought this was really quite beautiful and bold, and
please don't spoil. I want to watch this.
Swings. I'm not going to spoil, don't worry. But ultimately, I think as a film, it doesn't really come together. But I appreciate that you took a lot of risk with it, and I think Daniel Craig is, for me, he is in top 3 leading performances of the year.
We love Daniel Craig.
Yeah,
and his wife.
Kind of Ray Fiennes is in. Yeah, fucking Rachel Weisz, right?
Rachel, I love you.
Yeah. He'll be in the Oscar race for me, undoubtedly. Next up is American Fiction, starring what's his name? Was Jeffrey Wright. This was one of last year's Oscar films actually, so I saw it a while ago.
I feel bad for this film because it was at the very beginning of the year that was released in the UK. So recency bias does definitely come into stuff like this, and it kind of got shifted down in my ranking as well. But it is a really great film.
It's not. I would say it's a great film. It's a really good film. I think Jeffrey Wright's really good in it. And did he get nominated for an Oscar or not in the end?
I think he did.
Good. He didn't deserve the Oscar.
Yeah.
For like Paul Giamatti or Cillian Murphy would have won it every single year
Well,
if they weren't competing against each other. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. It was really good. Next up is Juror Number Two, starring Nicholas Hoult. Now, this is where I should have inserted the Nicholas Hoult story, not the Hugh Grant link.
boo,
This is I
boo,
gave it you gave it a 4. Like, don't fucking slag me off. Um,
boo.
I thought it was really good. I think I wish it took more risk. It did play a little bit safe, but like Clint Eastwood is Clint Eastwood. He's a great director. Um, and Nicholas Hoult, I don't know, it's probably his best performance to date. He was pretty good in Skins though. So
No.
his thing's up there. I've not seen loads of his stuff, but I've seen enough where
Okay,
it's
well,
like,
you need to watch more of his stuff because I
he's
like it.
he's. I think his performance in this is better than in The Menu. I'm gonna
Yeah,
kind of win,
yeah.
but anyway, go watch Skins if people listening haven't watched Skins. Like, go watch it. It's fucking great. And next up, my last 3.5 and number 19 of the year is Inside Out 2. This is delightful. It's on par with the original. Not really any complaints, to be honest. It's funny, it's clever, it's emotional. Just a really good film. And it made a lot of money, and I think it deserved to do so. But yeah, Veronica, what is your 3.5s?
Okay. Well, obviously not my 3.5s, just where my 3.5s start. And I
Okay,
know you
cool. Yeah,
hate this, but yeah.
this is stupid. It's so stupid.
And you're gonna hate the next two films. Number
No,
42, I have
wait,
the.
just stop, just
Okay.
stop. 3.5 is a good rate. That's all I say. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be too offended.
Okay, but I feel like the ranking I've done, you might not like, or some
This is true.
people might not like. So at number 42, I have The Iron Claw. Okay, and like, I feel like people already know I'm not the biggest fan of this film. Probably because I was expecting too much, and I thought I was gonna cry, and then I ended up not crying. And that really like made me think, well, if I didn't cry, I guess it didn't work as much as it did for other people. I still think the performances are good. It was missing something for me, and I can't even quantify it. It was just missing something. I love you, Harris Dickinson. Let's move on. I Okay, I know this is weird also actually with the Iron Claw, but it feels like because the real story was so unbelievable, when you put it in a film, it still comes across as if it didn't happen. Like it comes across too
It
like
also,
it seems fake because of how
yeah,
crazy it is.
it needed
And
to
like
be for me.
even though
It
I know
needed
it happened, I don't know. I
it
don't know.
needed to be 30 minutes longer, in my opinion,
Yeah,
because I
because it was
I
just
think
too
there
like
was
bang, 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 bang. You know, and it was
exactly,
like,
and
what?
there's the younger
Yeah,
brother. There's another death
exactly.
that it didn't get covered, and that's I understand why they didn't do it, but I think it did harm the film somewhat. Um,
Yeah. There
mine,
wasn't enough time for me to get invested, I
yeah,
think.
because you're kind of just like it's weird because like I mean I'll talk about it more in depth later, but like there's just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, and you go, this is a bit, I don't know, high
Yeah,
in the
like,
sky. But it's like
okay,
that's actually how it was.
Jesus.
It's a really good film in my opinion. But what's next?
Well, yeah. So, next at 41 is Madam Web. People aren't gonna like that. Okay, I'm just gonna... I'm gonna read my review. So, this is from, what, like, the February. Actually, what the fuck? I watched this on Valentine's Day. Why was I at the cinema watching Madam Web on Valentine's Day? Holy
Did you get
shit, I'm
pictures?
lonely.
That's why. That's why.
Yeah, I think I was like the only person at the screen. I went like midday on Valentine's Day to watch Madam Web on release day. Actually, um, I'm just gonna read my review because obviously we didn't have a podcast then. So I'll just read my review. So what I said was, and this was right when I left the cinema. I said every part of it is really awful, but in the same way that Aggro Drift and the later Fast and Furious films are, in that half of the people involved know it's bad, and the other half actually think they did something. I don't know how people watch this and take it seriously. It's clearly purposely made to be bad, and Dakota Jones' acting makes it seem like a satire, which I will interpret it as because I want to. The ending is so funny. I would watch like 5 more of these films. I stick by that. I think it's I listen. You can't take this film seriously. Dakota Johnson doesn't even want to be there. She's basically reading the lines off of a teleprompter. And I just find it so funny. Like, it's so bad that it's funny, which is why it gets 3.5. And I think everyone should go watch it. Next film is one you talked about before, Roadhouse remake, not remix.
You did it as
It's
well.
just
Did you do that on purpose or
no,
accidentally?
I did it on purpose. I didn't.
Oh,
I would
that's not
never
as
make
fun
that
then, is it?
mistake.
Keep moving, keep moving.
No.
That's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, that is embarrassing. That you'd think I'd ever say that wrong. Anyway, Roadhouse remake. Like Jack said, it's really fun. And I also expected it to be really bad, and it kind of wasn't. It was actually entertaining. And the fighting was quite cool. Like, the last fight was quite cool. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is a proper movie star, and we don't have that many of them left, but I think he's one of them, where if he's in a film, even if it's bad, I watch it because it's Jake Gyllenhaal. You know, he can carry a film like this and actually make some of it semi-serious. So next film. Now I have a few films that I've rated 3 stars, but in the ranking they're better than some of the films I rated 3.5. Let's not talk about it for too long. Just accept it. Number 39, 3-star film, is Mean Girls, the adaptation of the musical. I gave it 3 stars. I remember I was at the cinema in January. Holy shit. I watched this at the very beginning of the year, and I was at the cinema watching it, and at the beginning I was cringing so hard. Actually, it was almost a full screening of people. I was cringing because I felt like people around me didn't expect it to be musical, and it made me cringe. But then when I got into it and I stopped thinking about that, I actually thought it was fun. I think that Lindsay Lohan showing up was cool. Spoiler alert. And Renee Rapp was hot. And her intro scene is like great. Yeah, like it got better as it went on. I think if you get past the beginning, it ends up being just fun, and that's what it was meant to be. It was just meant to be a bit of fun for the girls, for the girlies. I'm never saying that again.
The girls and the gays. The gays are also
exactly. Okay. Number 38, I have Gladiator 2 on a 3-star. Like you already said, I also had it a bit higher. I think maybe 3.5. But I think we've talked about it extensively, and we've given it a really long review before when it actually released. So I don't want to talk about it too much. I personally don't think Paul Mescal is good in it, and yeah, it's kind of mid. Next film is another London Film Festival film, 37, Night Bitch. Directed by Marielle Heller and starring Amy Adams in the main role. I'm surprised that she's like getting nominations for Best Actress. Like, she is really good, but the film is not that good to be a film that gets even acting nominations. Like, it's kind of fun, and the concept is weird, but it's nothing more than 3 stars. I guess I'd still watch it. I still recommend watching it, but don't expect anything crazy, you know? Keep your expectations low. Next one is a documentary, so I didn't rate it, but it is Will and Harper. I already talked about it before. It's really good. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. 35. Oh, you're not gonna like this, but at 35, I have a 3-star film. I've lowered it to 3 stars. And it's Trap. It's Trap. I'm sorry, Trap Nation. Trap Nation sounds like one of those YouTube channels that used to play trap music.
that sounds like something fucking Tim Chalamet would bring up.
Yeah.
Did you not get trap pilled like I did?
No,
That's a shame. That's a shame, man.
the pill wore off. The effects wore off of Josh Hartnett being incredibly attractive. And I also saw a clip again of M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's acting, and it just made me cringe. I just can't do it. I just can't. I had to remove half star. It's not very good. Okay, next, back to the 3.5 star films. So at 34, I have Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I've talked about it before. I think maybe I would have enjoyed it more if I watched it at the cinema, first of all. Second of all, I think that it's harmed by the fact that it's a kind of second one of Mad Max Fury Road, which is, I think, a 5-star film. It's probably one of the best action films ever. I'm going to stick by that. I think it's harmed by being kind of after that, because it's just not as good. I think Anya Taylor-Joy's great, and we both mentioned Charlie Fraser in our reviews, which is crazy because she does not have as much screen time to be talking about her.
She had like 5 minutes maybe at the
Yeah,
beginning.
but
She was like,
she
she's
makes a
so
really
good.
good impression. Yeah, she's brilliant.
She got good range to be fair. 'Cause she was very different
She was
in
in Anyone But You.
Anyone But You. But she was very different in that film. I
Yeah.
don't think her acting was particularly great in that film, but her acting in Furiosa was legitimately very good, and I want to see her in
Yeah,
more
I hope
stuff.
she
I
actually
think
does carry on acting, because I know she's a
she's a
model.
model, right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think I've seen enough range in her 2 roles where I can go. I don't think she'll be an amazing actor, but I think she can stick around, and she can
Yeah,
be
I
a
hope
really
she
good
does.
supporting actor. I don't think she'd be a great lead. I don't think she has the potential to lead things,
No.
but
Maybe
in
like,
smaller roles and stuff like this,
you know what?
she'd be fucking
Actually,
great.
I think she could lead something like a slasher horror film or something. I think that would be quite fun. I could see her
It could
doing that.
work. Yeah, that could work.
Kind of like Samara Weaving. Her kind of roles have been slashery. Yeah, I think that would be quite fun. So, reach out to me. I could be our agent, Charlie Fraser. I could also be a
I
lot
think she
more.
probably
But
already has an agent,
let's
so
stop.
I think she's doing all right. Yeah.
Let's move on. No one heard that. Next, 33. I have The Taste of Things, which is a French film. I watched it on Valentine's Day again. Why was I at the cinema twice on Valentine's Day? You know what? Let's not talk about it. This is a very romantic film, actually. The food is, oh god, like, it's incredible. The way that they make food is sexy, I've written in my review, which is so true. It probably is better than 3.5. It's just that it's not my type of film. I think if a romantic slow burn French film about food and falling in love is your kind of thing, you'll probably love it a lot more. I don't know how many of those people listen to our podcast though. Number 32, 3.5 stars, is a film that I just watched randomly. Like, just walked into the cinema and watched it, and I had no idea what it was. It's called The Last Stop in Yuma County, which I already talked about. And it surprised me with how fun it was. It's just an entertaining, fun film. The lead actor, Jim Cummings, is on Letterboxd, and he reviewed it 5 stars. So yeah, I guess trust him, or trust me, and I have it a 3.5, and I recommend it. 31, I have Blink Twice, which you just mentioned. Yeah, I agree with what you said. Reviewed it before. Like, yeah, it's pretty good, and I think Zoe Kravitz has potential as a director. But it's a shame that she broke up with Channing
She needs a
Tatum.
better writer. I don't think she
Yeah.
wrote it, but she needs a
No,
better
I don't
writer.
think so. Number 30, I have a film called Femme, and I don't know if it was released this year. I think it was at the very beginning that it was at cinemas or Netflix. And it stars George McKay, who I want to mention because he was also in The Beast last year, which was one of my favourite films
Was he the one in
ever.
1917?
He's also 917.
He's a
He
really good
had,
actor. I
when
really
you
like
talk
him.
about range, you talk about George McKay. Because I think he is one of the best young actors out there. I genuinely think he is absolutely brilliant, and any film he is in, from since I saw The Beast, any film he's in or he's going to be in, I have on my radar, because I think he is so good, and this role is completely different from any of his others. He plays kind of a closeted, rough guy, and it's a lot of I don't know. It's a film that you should just watch. I think it's on Netflix still. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but I do recommend it. And George McKay is just brilliant. He's a brilliant actor. 29. I have All of Us Strangers. Um, I I know a lot of people really love this film. I expected it to be better. I like the colors. I like the way it looks. This is the
The
point
trailer
where
was brilliant. The trailer
the
was brilliant.
trailer is better than the film, and that is why I don't like watching trailers because I was disappointed. Um, I think there are some scenes that work, and then other bits that don't, which is why I ended up on 3.5. It's still a good film. I think Andrew Scott is good, and Jamie Bell especially. I think he gives a really good supporting performance. I I think maybe I should rewatch it. I think maybe I should give it another chance. But I also find it hard to get past Paul Mescal's performance in this. I think this is the point where I started thinking maybe After Sun was just a one-off
I
because
don't. I don't.
I
I really like Paul
really
Mescal,
don't
as you
like
know.
his
I don't.
performance in All of Us Strangers is so bad.
For
It's
me, like
so bad.
I'm
It's
not sure I'd say it's
awful.
so bad. I don't quite agree with that, but
It's not his fault. Maybe it's
I
the
think it's
character and the
harmed.
writing.
I think it's more harmed by. I mean, the writing. Yeah,
His
I think the
character's written
accent.
badly.
I think the
I'm
accent
sorry.
harms it a lot,
I don't
and I
know.
don't know why they. So the thing I always say about Paul Mescal, I think he's a really good actor. I don't think he's got loads of range, but I think he's a really good actor in dramatic roles, and I think he has potential to do more comedies in the future. Um,
Yeah.
but what I'd say is that in terms of his accent work, he can't do an accent that isn't Gaelic. So he does like a range of Irish accents really well. He does Scottish pretty well in After Sun. But when you start getting into like his American accent is abysmal. Like I've seen every single one of Paul Mescal's films, every single one. Um, his American accent is the worst he's got. So his accent's really bad in Foe, which is a terrible film. His accent's really bad in Carmen, which isn't it's an okay film. Um, and in he's got just a weird accent in Gladiator too. He's kind of going for Russell Crowe, but it's a bit too. I don't know. His accent in this film is like on par with Barry Keoghan's Scouse accent. It's like indecipherable. It's awful. I don't know why they didn't just let him do an Irish or a Scottish accent. That would have made way more sense.
Listen. I just think he lets the film down. It's him, the character, or the writing of his character, or the plot around his character. I
I
just
don't
don't
think the
think it
plot's the
works for
issue.
me.
Okay, around his character.
Okay, well, his character doesn't work for me like
We're
at
going to
all.
disagree on this one. We're going to.
Okay, well, we disagree then. Next, 28, I have Alien Romulus. Um, I think that it gets better as it goes along, and the ending is weird and cool, and I really enjoyed the ending, and I wish it was more like that. The ending bumped it up to 3.5, and Katie Spaney was good. The other actors are like not that good. Well, no, except David Johnson. But the other like supporting actors, I think, are like Netflix
Was
original film
was
level.
David Johnston Riley?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
great film.
also in Industry, this TV show. He's very good. Last 3.5 star film. That honestly, I'm upset it's here because I think it should be higher. I can't do it. I can't put it higher, but I wish I could. It is Megalopolis. I think if I rewatched it, I'd put it higher because it's just so funny. Um, Auntie Wow, Auntie Wow. Whenever someone says "Wow," I just cannot stop thinking about Aubrey Plaza and Auntie Wow. I don't know. Um, I've talked about it so much. We'll probably mention it like another 100 times next year, just out of nowhere in the podcast episodes, because it's just such a.
Unique is the
I
word I'd
don't
use.
even know. Yeah, unique. I don't even know how to describe it, but watch it. Just watch it. Like, yeah, that's all my 3.5 star / 3 star films. You can go on now.
Thank you. So I'm now up to number 18, and I'm going to go up to my top 10 because it's essentially one, two, about seven 4 stars, and then one 4.5 star, which is my 11th place film. So I'll do that, and then Veronica will do up to number 10, and then we'll go from there. In number 18 is Kinds of Kindness. One of them films that is definitely good and bold and brave, and I think Jesse Plemons is superb in it. Emma Stone not so much, but I think the film gets worse as it goes on to a degree. I think the first 2 stories are pretty good. The third one is really quite bad actually. Didn't really care for it. But that was enough to like. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure to recommend it, to be honest, because you've got to be careful about what films you recommend because then your reputation gets harmed. As we discussed last week with Casey Evans. Next up in 17 is the Oscar nominated and I think Oscar winning for Best Sound. The Zone of Interest. It's probably the single most depressing cinema experience of my life. It was bleak, it was sad, it was depressing, but it was wholly necessary. I think it will be earmarked as one of the most important films of the decade, for what it said about, genocide and turning a blind eye to it. And I think the portrayal of the family who ran Auschwitz was very brave, very, very, very brave, and it deserved the Oscar nominations and it deserved the critical acclaim. The subtitling was a bit shit, which I remember noticing at the time, and there was something else that was kind of missing. But the ending is one of the best of the year. I think this is a film you should watch purely for how important and how prescient it is. Yeah, don't expect to be happy though by the end of it. Next up at number 16, it is Snack Shack, starring Gabriella Bell. It's a coming of age film. If you know me, you'll know I love a good coming of age story. And this is just that. It's kind of got all of the tropes and everything that you'd really want from it. And then the third act is very powerful. And Gabriella Bell is fucking great in it because I believe he's one of the most talented actors of this next generation. I mean, the 3 leads, though, they are all way too old to play the characters. They're supposed to be like 14, 15, and they all look about, older than that. So that's one thing.
Can I just say, speaking of next generation, I think one day we should do a podcast episode, kind of like the next gen list on FM when they list Wonder Kids.
You do realise the next gen list is a real thing, right? It's not just on FM.
Oh.
I agree. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, we should do a next gen list for like actors and actresses.
Is the kids that would be great in 10 years?
Well, no. Yeah, but with actors, a young actor is someone who's like 25 still. That's still a young actor.
Okay, yeah, okay. I like
say
that.
actors who are like between 20 and 25.
We'll call it like Film Wonder Kids. Good idea. We'll look forward to that episode in the future.
Yeah, look forward to that one.
Yeah. Next up, number 15 is Conclave. This is the most 8 out of 10 film I've ever seen, and I mean that as an absolute compliment. I think it's a really effective thriller. I think there's a lot to be said of religion. I think Ray Fiennes is legitimate.
XCX rated at 5 stars. Just saying.
Yeah, she should.
Actually, she didn't. She liked it. We love you.
If you want to follow Charlie XX on Letterboxd, it's Charlie BB, I think. Ray Fiennes will be in the hunt for Best Actor for this film, deservedly so. It's one of the best performances of the year in terms of that category. Go watch this film. I've struggled to think of anyone that will hate this film. I think it's one of them that's quite hard to hate. Next up is Twisters, a film that I did originally give a 4.5 to, but kind of bumped it down a little bit because I think the cinema experience kind of added to that. I know Veronica didn't love this, but I had a really good time with it. The audience was pretty fun. And then I got a pint of Star Ramen in a beer garden right after. It was like 30 degrees, and I was loving life. Superb. What is next? Oh, God. Veronica, I'll keep this one brief because I know you're going to be pissed off. This is a film I originally gave a 5-star to. On my second viewing,
I know what it is. And
I now have it at a 4.
Fuck off.
It's 4 things.
But you haven't rewatched it. You just lowered it.
I rewatched it once and gave it 4.5, and then the more I kind of gave
Oh,
it
shut up.
yeah.
Honestly, shut
The
up.
more I think about this film, the less it
You've
works.
been
I think
rotted.
this is
Your brain's been rotted by the media, and you listen to other people's opinions, and you don't
this is
go
my
on the
opinion.
feeling, because guess what? When you watch it the first time and the feeling you got after it, you gave it 5. And that's all I'm gonna pay
Yeah, I
attention to.
did. Yeah, but I'm not denying the fact I gave it a 5, but I'm also not denying the fact that the more I think about it, the worse it gets. I think this is a
Don't even
really good
tell me
film.
what you think about it. I don't want to know.
Well, cool.
I'm muting you.
Penultimate of this segment is a film I gave 5 stars to again, but the more I thought about it, the less it worked. We discussed it very recently. It's All of Us Strangers. Again, a really good film, but I don't know, kind of worked less as I thought about it. And the last film I'll discuss, my number 11 of the year, and this is like the honourable mention. It just didn't quite make the cut of my top 10. It's a 4.5 star film. It's an exceptional film. It's Kneecap. This was really, I felt really bad about leaving this out of my top
What?
10. It's it's 11. It's the 11th best film of the year. How are you can't be that annoyed at it. What are you
I'm
annoyed
just
about here?
adding audience noises. I don't know. I'm just
Okay,
being shocked.
I can add some real noise if I won't do that. But no, yeah, I think this is a superb film, and it could have very easily gotten into the top 10, but it just missed out. Um, it's really well acted. It's really funny. The editing is really sharp. The cinematography is surprisingly good. I mean, I didn't really care for the third act loads, but I still liked it. Um, Go listen to Kneecap. If you're from Ireland, learn Irish. If you're from England, learn your history and go watch this film. It's very good. Veronica, can you take us up to your top 10?
Okay, yeah. Sure. It's gonna take ages. I'm on number
Quick
26.
fire.
But okay. 26, I have Monkey Man, 4 stars. I went to the cinema to watch it, and it was a really good action film. I thought the last act was great. It got better as it went on. And if you want to watch another good Dev Patel performance, watch The Green Knight. The Green Knight, absolutely brilliant film. I think I gave it 5 stars or 4.5. Better than this one, but both are good. Number 25, I have horror film Immaculate, which was produced by and starring in the lead role Sydney Sweeney, who I really like. I'm a big fan of. I know some people think overrated, whatever. She's just a blonde dumbass, but she's not. She's really talented, and this film, I think, proves that she's not right wing, and I think I'm glad that it does that, because I wanna like Sydney, so now I can like Sydney without feeling weird about it. I put a kneeling person emoji in my review, and yeah, I love you, Sydney. Next film. Also, I think I kind of rated that higher than most people did. So, yeah, you might not like it as much as I did, but I liked it. Number 24 is Wim Wenders' directed film Perfect Days. Wim Wenders has directed my favorite
I've
film
heard
of all
very good
time,
things about
Paris,
this.
Texas. And this is a new film by him, which just kind of is about appreciating the little things in life. And I think that that's a great thing to make a film about. And if you watch it at the right moment, it'll probably hit you harder and you'll rate it higher. And I think if I did, I would probably maybe give it 5 stars. It just depends on how you feel when you watch it, I think. But it's really good. The lead performance by Koji Yakusho is very good. And yeah, recommended. Number 23, I have a film Jack has already mentioned, American Fiction. I watched it at the beginning of the year. I really loved the screenplay. I gave it 4.5 stars initially. I really do love this film. I think I like it. I love it more than Jack, obviously. And I rewatched it a week after I watched it the first time, which made me lower it to 4 stars. So yeah, I've kind of had that thing where sometimes it is kind of risky to rewatch a film that you really love because you might realize you actually don't love it as much as you thought you did. I think sometimes it's better to leave it as a just watching it once and letting your initial thoughts just be there and stay there forever. But I watched it again and I still really liked it. I still think it's rewatchable. And the second time I watched it, I also stayed and listened to a Q&A with Jeffrey Wright and the director Cord
Ford
Jefferson.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
and I think that added to the experience of watching the film, and I really do recommend watching it. It's not as, it might seem like a drama or like a really American film because it's literally called American Fiction, but it's not. It's a really good comedy. I think it's one of the funniest films of the year.
The writing is so sharp. It's
Yeah,
the
the
best
screenplay is
screenplay.
brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah, I might actually rewatch it soon because it is really fucking funny. Number 22, I have About Dry Grasses, which is by Turkish director Nuri Bilge Ceylan. I butchered that so bad. It's that 3.5 hour film that I watched at
Is
the
this the
cinema.
one about tea? Or like we spoke about
We
tea
were talking
quite a bit
about tea.
when we reviewed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's very kind of. I don't want to describe a film as deep, but I'd say you need to be in the right mindset to watch a film like this because it is a lot of brain power usage. Not because it's subtitled, because
It's
of
not
the
like
kind of
Roadhouse.
topic. No, exactly. It's not Roadhouse. You can't just turn your brain off. You have to if you turn your brain off and watch this film, you'll just fall asleep. You have to kind of pay attention and try and think about it, which you need to be in the right mindset for. And I think I was when I was there that day. I had my popcorn, I had my M&Ms, I had a drink. Like I was ready because I knew it was going to be long and I wanted to pay attention. So yeah, number 22. Number 21, which I don't know if it should be 21. I actually think I might move it down to 25.
Ooh, go on.
Because I think it's worse than About Dry Grasses, American Fiction, Perfect Days, and Immaculate.
What's the film?
The film is Love Lies Bleeding.
Wow, big claim.
I think it swings high. It does. It makes some big swings, especially towards the end. I think we could both agree on that.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Yeah. I think that. Well, actually, I want to say a little story about Love Lies Bleeding first. So, before the film released, I saw something. I can't remember what service it was on, but I saw something and I was like, oh my god, the film's out. And I went to watch it and I watched almost the whole film. And then I was just thinking the whole time, like, where the hell is Kristen Stewart? Like, I thought she was the lead, like one of the leads in this film, and she hasn't shown up yet. And I got to the 10 minutes left of the film, and I googled it, and I realized I was watching a film called Bleeding Love with Ewan McGregor on a road trip with his daughter. And it has a Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis needle drop as well, which is an absolute banger of a song, by the way. But I realized I'd been watching the wrong film the whole time, and I was so confused why it wasn't gay or why there was no bodybuilder and no Kristen Stewart. So, yeah, then I had to wait for ages because I was like, well, actually, it's not out in yet. And I went to the cinema and watched it. In April, the co-writer of this film, by the way, is called Weronika, and she's Polish. And it's spelt like my name, so shout out.
Hope she had a great 24th of December.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I know things.
You know what? I should try and get her to come on the podcast just because she has the same name as me. She probably would say yes. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like I should rewatch it because I think it would either make me like it more, or it would make me realize actually it swang too much, or too high or whatever. I think I should rewatch it because right now I'm kind of in a limbo about it. I'm not sure what I think. It's worth watching. I just think you either love it or hate it, and
That's
I'm
fair.
kind of in the middle, and I should rewatch it and realize,
So
do I love it or
you
do I
said
not like
you
it?
just said you either love it or you hate it, and you've gone, well, not me actually. I'm perfectly in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just not everyone, am I? I'm special in a lot of ways. Anyway, next film, number 20 in my top 20 is animated film The Wild Robot. Yeah, this is gonna win Best Animated Film at the Oscars, and it deserves to. I think it's so wholesome. It's so cute, and I cried like 3 times, and I was trying so hard not to cry, but I just couldn't not cry, because God, it's just so great, and the animation's brilliant as well. Number 19. There's a film that I didn't rate when I watched it at London Film Festival because of the subject. I just didn't feel like I wanted to rate it. And I also wasn't sure how I felt about the way in which it was filmed because it is filmed in first person. It's Nickel Boys. And I settled on 4.5 stars, but to be honest, I think it's 4 stars. I God, it's just it is a hard watch because of subject matter.
Did you feel a pressure to rate it higher because of the subject matter?
No, I think I felt pressure to rate it higher because everyone who's watched it has rated it 5 stars, and I kind of like was thinking that there was something wrong with me with not thinking it was a 5 star
You're a
film.
conformist.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know, and I guess the subject matter adds to it where you're like, ah, shit, like everyone said it was such like one of the most important films of all time, and like, oh God, I don't know. And I kind of stressed out and gave it too high. I think it's just a 4 star film for me anyway. Because honestly, I think it could have been better. I think it could have been better. I think it would have been better for me if it wasn't filmed like that. It just didn't work for me. The way in which it was filmed, the first person thing, just didn't work for me. I think the performances are really good. The cinematography is really nice. The first person thing just is, I don't know, it didn't work for me. But it's still like everything else is brilliant, which is why I found it hard to rate the film. Yeah, 19. I'm settled on 19. Number 18 is Conclave, which you've already talked about. 4 stars, exactly like you said. It's a 4 star film. Like, anyone who watches it will give it 4 stars. I too truly believe that. If you don't, you're just weird. Yeah, it's a film that you can watch with your family, with your friends, on your own, anytime, any mood. It's just a great film. It's just I don't know, you just put it on. It's like that kind of film where you'd be laying in bed at 11 p.m. and then you just turn the TV on and like you'll be halfway through and you just will finish it every time because it's just something to watch, you know? But it is like also really good. So I put it 18. 17, I have gone with Long Legs. And so I've watched this twice at the cinema. First time I watched it, it was like release day. The screening was full. Like the tension in the room was so high because I think also if you watched this film before you had it spoiled for you and before you saw pictures from it online, and the only thing you've heard was that, oh my God, it's really scary, it added to the experience, and I actually think it was really good to watch it in that way, and I'm really glad that I watched it in that way because it actually made me scared. I was actually scared, and I don't get scared at horror films, but for some reason, like I was really into it. I was really immersed. Everyone around me was scared, which added to it, and it was like a really fun cinema experience. I gave it 4.5 when I first watched it. I also think it's a really good film. I watched it again at the cinema, and obviously it wasn't that good because I wasn't scared as much the second time, but I still really enjoyed it. I'll still rewatch it. I don't know, I just really like it, and I think Micah Monroe is a really good actress. She's good at horror films. She was in It Follows as well. So yeah, 4 stars. I think it's 17th in my list. Number 16 is a film that you rated lower than me. Jura number 2. I watched it recently. I watched it over Christmas.
Good film.
I actually watched it on the 23rd. I give it 4 stars because you know what? I was thinking like, is it a 4-star film? And I was like, you know what? To me, yes, it is. It is a 4-star film to me because I really enjoyed it, and I love a courtroom drama. I love the cast. Nicholas Hoult, J.K. Simmons, by the way, as well. Great actor. And I don't know, it's just like it reminds me, kind of like Conclave. Like you just see it on TV, you just finish it every time because it. I don't know. Like, I was watching, I was thinking, like, God, like, oh, what happened? I don't know what happened. Maybe it was this. Maybe it was this. Like, oh, why is this person involved? I don't know. Like, it kind of had me on the edge of my seat. Like, even though it was paint by numbers, some people will say, I still think it did a really good job of what it set out to do, and I enjoyed it.
Clint Eastwood goated, mate. Fuck it,
Yeah,
not the goat. He's not the goat, but like he is like a great director. He's $1 Million Baby is fantastic.
I need to watch it.
Number 2.
Yes. Okay. Next, 15th best film of the year is Hundreds of Beavers. 4 stars for me. I think. Okay, so I want to say this right now for anyone listening. First of all, this film is so funny. It's like classic slapstick comedy, Charlie Chaplin, like Charles Chaplin, actually. You know, that it's that kind of style of comedy, kind of silent movie style. You know, exaggerated
that kind of era.
Physical comedy. Yeah, just brilliant. But it's kind of like a modern twist on it, and it's ridiculous, and it also has a nice story. Oh god, it's just so good. But I have an announcement. Okay, it's not like a massive announcement, but this film is actually going on tour in the UK. So the lead actor / director, because it's the same guy. Okay, it's not the same guy.
Yeah, it's not. I was going to say.
But the lead actor, I think he's one of the producers and writers. Okay, so he's the co-writer of this film.
That's correct.
Rickson Cole Tews.
He looks mental, by the way. Like his fucking Letterboxd profile picture is so funny.
Yeah, but that guy, okay, he's going on a UK tour of Hundreds of Beavers, and he's doing a Q&A at every single picture house in the UK. So if you have a picture house cinema anywhere near you, even if you have to drive there for an hour or whatever, because they're not all just in central London. There's one in Bath, there's one in York, there's like 5 in London. But listen, go watch it and go attend a Q&A and tell them FCA sent you and tell them it was Weronika and that he should come on the podcast. Basically harass him. No, I'm joking. So he's...
Don't harass him.
Okay, I'm joking. I said I'm joking. Joking.
Wait, announcement time. There is the closest picture house to me is in Southampton, and he is there on the 30th of April.
Let's go. Okay, so you're gonna go. Can you
wait?
Wait, Jack. That means we're both gonna talk to him. So we both ask him to come on the podcast.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Who the fuck are these people? Get away from me!"
But I'll say it first because I'm going in April as well, but it's before the 30th.
Yeah,
I'll ask him.
£11.20,
and then he'll forget
£8.70.
about me. I paid $5.99. Anyway.
Yeah. Whatever.
Because under 25 student weekday because he's on a Wednesday in London. Anyway, so I'll ask him, and then he'll forget about it, and then a week after you'll remind him, and then get his number.
His Twitter, or probably won't give out his number
something
to me.
normal. Yeah.
Maybe I think of a really good question, and I'll go right. I've got a question for you.
True.
If it's good enough, can you come on my podcast and we'll discuss further?
Oh,
if you ask a question,
and then you're gonna ask, "Do you listen to the Hawk Tour podcast?"
Yeah, what's your thoughts on Hayley Welch being a grifting little... I nearly said a bad word there.
No.
That was nearly the podcast's first C-bomb.
Okay.
I refuse to do
I've said it before. Alright, anyway.
Maybe we have. I don't know.
Alright, let's move on. Number 14, Sing Sing. I don't know if you've watched it.
I can't... Not yet, no. Because it's not really... I'd have to...
It's going to be back in cinemas because like it has an Oscar campaign and they're pushing it now.
Looks good. It looks really good. Coleman Domingo's fucking... What a man. I love him.
It is really good. I love him too. It's a really good film. It's emotional. The whole cast is great. I've already talked about it before extensively. Coleman Domingo, yes, as you said, he's brilliant. He will definitely get an Oscar nomination. The director, Greg Quaidar, signed my program, so love you, Greg. Next, number 13 is a film that you probably haven't heard of ever. It's an Italian film that I watched at the Picture House in Bath in May. And it's a film called There's Still Tomorrow. I don't think anyone's watched it. But I did, and it made me cry, and it made me really upset.
Oh, I saw the trailer for this loads. I remember seeing the trailer for this lots.
Yeah, I gave it 4.5 stars. God, I don't know. I think it just really hit me because she reminded me of my mum, and like.
Shout out to Weronika's mum, by the way, OG listener.
Yeah, shout out. She does listen.
One super fan.
Podcast. Yep. And I don't know. Like, it's black and white. It's Italian. It's about the kind of journey to getting women's rights in Italy and women's rights to vote. And kind of wanting the best for her daughter as a mother, wanting her to have a better life than she did. And I don't know, listen, sometimes a subject matter or a performance just hits you, and it just did in this. Like, even if it's not a credible film, it was to me, and I have it at number 13. Number 12 is La Chimera. I don't know if you watched it.
No, I've not been able to watch it, no, but it looks very good.
It's directed by Alice. Ooh, I'm not saying that.
It's
Help me.
Okay, I'd go Alice Rawvaka.
Rawvaka. Okay.
I'd go with that, yeah.
Well, anyway, it stars Josh O'Connor, who I absolutely love. I love you, Josh O'Connor. And I don't know. It's just a really good film. It's just really good. It's just
Sometimes
this
that's
guy.
what you need to say, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just really good. Like, just watch it. Really, 4.5 stars from me. Yeah, it's just really good. I don't have anything else to say. It's just really good. I'll probably rewatch it soon as well. So I'll probably talk about it more like at another point, because I definitely want to watch it again.
When I finally watch it, we can review it properly.
Finally watch it, we can talk about it. Number 11, actually, also just missing out on my top 10, is Kneecap, which is crazy. We both done the exact
Kneecap, most snubbed film of the year in the
yeah, I'm so sorry.
Podcast.
I'm so sorry to the boys. I went to watch them in concert. I've talked about it. I absolutely loved them, and I've only maybe I'm not hipster enough. Okay, I discovered them because of the film. Okay, I'm sorry, right? But yeah, 4.5 stars. Incredible. Everyone should watch it. I hope to God it gets an Oscar nomination. It would be so good if they did. And the Q&A after, when the guys came out, like, tipsy, with glasses of wine and Buckfast or whatever, and DJ Prove was in his Bohemians kit, so shout out Bohemians. And I talked to 2 of them after the film, and they were both really nice. They signed
I didn't know that. I didn't hear about that.
Wait, really? I feel like I told you.
Yeah, well, you said there was a Q&A and stuff, but I don't think I heard about you meeting them.
I think you did. You just forgot. Well, yeah, I spoke to them after the film. They actually stayed behind and spoke to like loads of people afterwards. Like, they just hung around the lobby, and everyone was just talking to them about random shit. So, and they were just signing stuff for everyone, posters, everything. Like, they're really, really, really nice guys. And yeah, obviously I then started listening to their music, and I went to see them in concert, and yeah, they're just brilliant. And the film, you might not expect to be a marvel of cinema. God, I should not say marvel and cinema in the same sentence. Ew. Anyway, that's ruined that word for me now. Oh god. But it's a lot better as a film, like a film than you would expect it to be. Like Jack said, the cinematography, some of the creative choices. Some of the creative choices are just like, wow, like it's so cool, and I can't believe they did that in a, what you'd think would just be in a music band biography thing, but yeah, no, it's brilliant, and everyone should watch it. And yeah, music is incredible as well. So yeah, that's me up to
Mind
my.
your language. So what we're going to do, we're going to delay a little bit. So when we get to our top 10 very shortly,
We're
we'll go
teasing.
one at a time. So we'll do our 10, then our 9, etc. So we'll take it in turns. But Veronica, we have got another bit of music. Well, not music, to be honest, just
It's
Spotify
not
related
music.
content. What is it called? The creator Wrapped.
Yes, so
Talk
we
us through
had
it.
a create a Spotify Wrapped for the podcast. Obviously, we haven't been doing it for the whole year, so these stats are a bit off. But I don't think Jack's seen it, so
I didn't know
I'll
it was,
just rattle
I
off.
didn't know it existed until what, hour
Yeah,
and a half
because you
ago.
don't check anything.
Well, I
Okay,
checked the stats for our last episode, and I didn't wish I didn't. So
okay, let's not
that's
talk
why I
about
don't
it.
do it.
It's because I wasn't there. Let's just go with that. So our most streamed episode is the pilot episode, which I think makes a lot of sense. Because it's an introduction and to us and what we do.
It's our worst
You
episode
know.
as well. So that's why people stop
Yeah, it
listening.
is absolutely the worst. Anyway, age ranges. Most of our audience is 25 to 29, and that's 36%
That's
of our
surprising.
audience.
I thought it'd be like 20 to 25.
Most of our audience is older than us, which is crazy. Well, I mean, I'm 22, you're 21, 20?
Yeah, that's
21.
correct.
21. We have been streamed in 18 countries, which is a lot. I did not expect it to be. No, it didn't. But top is obviously UK. Well, you can look that up anytime on the Spotify thing. Anyway,
Can't be asked.
and the biggest stat, the most important stat of all of them, is that we were the number one podcast of the year, which we didn't even start at the beginning of the year, but we were the number one podcast for a whole 16 people. So 16 people had us as their number one podcast.
16 fucking lunatics. What are you doing? There's better podcasts
Yeah, that
out
is
there.
kind of crazy. Maybe they just don't listen to podcasts and they listen to one episode. But
You
I
know
thought
what?
that was quite impressive. 16 people as our number one. Okay.
I know we slag off the
Shout
Spotify a
out.
lot, quite a bit,
Shout out.
but I don't see Apple Music putting these numbers up. So
Mhm.
shout out to Spotify. I know we abuse you, but it's kind of like a love language. We love you, really, Spotify people.
Some people like that, like me, for example. So, anyway.
Cool. Let's not drown on that.
Do we not have another bit? Like, I was gonna do some flexing or something.
Some flexing? Okay.
Not like Love Lies Bleeding flexing, but
You do, yeah. So Veronica is now about to flex about who she's met this year. Go ahead.
Okay, well, listen, we're doing a roundup of the year, so I just wanted to rattle off a few of the names of people that I've met or spoken to or seen at Q&As in 2024, because I've been going to a lot of them, and hopefully there are more to come in 2025. I've already had some booked for January, so look forward to that. But I'm just going to rattle off Kneecap, Saoirse Ronan, I love you, Saoirse. Greg Quader, who's the director of Sing Sing, Demi Moore, who had loads of security, and I couldn't get an autograph. Then I had Emma Stone, Yorgos Lanthimos, and Jesse Plemons at the Kinds of Kindness Q&A. Absolutely love all of them, but I was about to pass out when Emma Stone came out. I'm not gonna lie. Sadly, she didn't actually come out, but she came out like onto the stage. Let's move on. Amy Adams at London Film Festival. The cast of Nickel Boys as well at London Film Festival. Richard Linklater, which was my first Q&A of the year. And that was before I watched the Before trilogy, so I only knew him from Hitman, which is crazy.
That was wasted on you.
Yeah, that was absolutely wasted, because if I knew, I would have got an autograph or something. I saw Emerald Fennell when a short film showcase, and I also actually met the creators of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the YouTube series thing, who are Rebecca Sloan and Joseph Pelling, and they were really nice. They'll talk to people after, and they seem really cool, like too cool. So those are people. Hopefully more to come next year, especially with the podcast. I'll try to go to as much film festival stuff and Q&As as possible to get content. But I am upset about one thing, which is that I was at work and I missed a Q&A with Glenn Powell. And I'm still upset about that.
That's gutting, to be fair.
And I think I will always be upset about that. I should just call in sick. I cannot believe that I missed out on meeting Glenn Powell. I actually am tearing up right now just thinking about it. God, that is so sad. Yeah, I'm done with that bit now. Now you made me tear up, and I'm crying.
I didn't make you tell. That was very much on you. That was your choice.
Glenn, please DM me.
Is that all the flexing you want to do before we finally put the people out of misery? Now, I'll go first. My number 10 film of the year on 4.5 stars. We've discussed it already. Well, Veronica has. It is the unbelievably original, creative, clever, funny Hundreds of Beavers. I wanted to watch this film for a long time. Beaver Nation. Beavers really do be doing that. This film is absolutely exceptional. It's Buster Keaton, it's Charlie Chaplin, but it's also what I love most. It's Monty Python. Monty Python and the Holy Grail specifically. There's a bit in it. There's like a subplot of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. They're kind of investigating some beaver killings, whatever it is, and it's so funny. And like this film has some of the funniest moments of the entire year. It's somehow is. I'm not really a big silent film guy. It's not really my bag. I don't do it much. But this is it's unbelievable. It's so good. And, in an era of damaging AI abominations, I was going to say creations, abominations is a better word. We've got a low budget, black and white silent comedy with some of the best visual storytelling you'll see anywhere. It's so charming and funny and original and yeah, just another funny moment to look forward to is there's a bit in it where it kind of goes through the life cycle of a rabbit, and I was watching it in bed and I couldn't stop laughing. Is unbelievable. Directed by Mike Cheslick, starring Ryland Brixton Cole Twos. Yeah, go watch that film. Veronica, what is your number 10 of 2024?
And go to the UK tour that Ryland is doing.
And if you're at the Southampton one,
Q&A.
say hello to me.
Yeah, go. Wait, should I go to the Southampton one with you?
You can if you want. It's on a Wednesday.
FCA meet up.
Wednesday. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Shit.
Why not?
We can beg him together. That's even better.
Yeah, he'll love that. He'll love harassment.
Yeah, listen, guys. Around the whole UK, we need you guys to go to every single stop on this tour and beg him to come on the podcast. Bring some posters. Know how kids bring to football games? They're like, "Can I have your shirt, please?" Just like, "Can you come on MCA, please?"
Because even if, let's say, he gives us a restraining order, that's a great story. That's a great story for the podcast.
That is true. Yeah, that's content. Anyway, enough of that. My number 10. I don't think you've watched it. I know I've overrated this film. I know this is probably not in other people's top 10. Poor Things is from last year and it was my number 1. You know that, and I've watched like 8 times, and I was at the world premiere and I cried and Yorgos was there behind me.
You never mention it as well. You never mention it.
I gave a 20-minute ovation and then I left and my hands were shaking because I can't believe I just watched like one of my favourite films in that. Whatever. Number 10 is Maxine. Yeah. I think what?
Yeah.
You're just right, whatever, you don't get it. You just don't get it. Right, anyway. Maxine is my number 10. I loved it because I just loved these films. And I gave quite a detailed review when I watched it in July, in which I explained some stuff about what inspired the film and why it's a certain way and why it's different to the other two. Some people don't like it. I still loved it. I had a great time. I think it was a great end to the trilogy, even though if there's a new one, I will still watch it because I love Mia Goth. I'm not gonna lie, I just love her, and I think she's brilliant. She's one of the best young actresses out there. I'm gonna say it. And if she wasn't the lead, it wouldn't be 4.5, and it wouldn't be in my top 10. But she is, and she just makes the film way better than it probably is. Anyway, and also some things I just enjoy, okay? And I just enjoyed it, so shut up. Yeah. Should I go to my number 9, or are you doing your number 9?
Yeah, no, let's do. Yeah, you do 9, then I'll do my 9 and 8, and
okay,
so
yeah.
forth.
Okay, so my number 9 is a film that I watched in beginning of February because the UK release date was fucked up. Why was it so late? Because it won an Oscar. So, but last year, I don't know if you have it as this year's film as well, but I've gone with number 9, The Zone of Interest.
Yeah, I mentioned it
Uh,
earlier when you disappeared for no reason
oh,
at all.
sorry. Yeah, The Zone of Interest is probably better than 4.5, but God, it's just bleak, isn't it? It's not a film you want to rewatch.
I will never rewatch it. I said earlier, it's
God,
so powerful
yeah,
and such an important film, but I will never watch it again.
it's yeah. The sound is incredible. We watched the Oscars together last year with some of our friends. Shout out. And when it won sound, we all celebrated because it was so surprising that they actually gave it to such a deserving film for sound. It's like haunting. Like during the screening, I could feel myself like sinking into my seat and wanting to disappear because of how like tense and oh god, I don't know how harrowing it was, and like the realization you get. But like because listen, I walked into this film without knowing it was a preview as well, so it's like people told me about it. I didn't know what it was about, like at all. Like I genuinely didn't know anything. I didn't read anything. I didn't watch trailers. I literally nothing. So when like my whole body and like I could feel my heart drop when I realized what this film was about and what it was in the background and stuff. Like I could feel like a genuine full body reaction to seeing something in a film, and I don't think I've ever had a reaction like that watching a film. Um, yeah, like I never want to see it again, but the experience I had of watching it was just, God, like chilling, haunting. Everything else that you've heard about it is true. You should watch it at a cinema, though. I don't think it's a watch at home film, and it's not at the cinema, so you have to wait for it to come back. Sorry, because watching on TV is just such a disservice. Like it's disrespectful. Actually, I think you need sound to be, like at a cinema. You need to experience that cinema.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's my
agree.
number 9.
Okay, so I'm doing 9 and 8 now. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Number 9 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This film worked for me more than Veronica. Fine, we both liked the film. I liked it more. It's undeniably a messy film. It just is. And it's not as perfect as Mad Max Fury Road, but I think it packed an emotional punch. I know Veronica didn't, and I completely understand why. I like the romance between Praetorian Jack and Furiosa. I love the character of Praetorian Jack. To be honest, I thought it was really well written and well acted. And Charlie Fraser, is it Charlie Fraser? That's her name, right? I think so.
Yes.
She's very good as Furiosa's, I want to say, mum at the beginning of the film. And Anya Taylor-Joy is surprisingly not getting any love for Best Actress. She doesn't deserve to win because we'll get onto who we think we should win. I think for both of our number 1 pick of the year, but we'll see about
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, but she should be in the conversation for me, like for that 4th or 5th spot. But what are you gonna do? Very creative, very cool. It's a George Miller Mad Max. What's not to like? That being said, I watched the original Mad Max recently, and it is terrible. My number 8 pick, a film I had on 5-star, but bumped it down to a 4.5. It is The Iron Claw. I discussed my reasoning about what I mean. Emotionally, it was fucking brutal, to be honest, and it was it was a tough watch. I thought Zac Efron was exceptional. Um, I think it needs to be 30 minutes longer, 20, 30 minutes longer, just to really get into it and break it up a little bit. But yeah, I loved it, and it got kind of dicked by its release date, which is a real shame because it should have had more of a chance to get nominated for Oscars, in my opinion. But yeah, let me think. Um, from now on, we'll do one at a time, and then we'll do our number 1 pick at the same time because I think it might be the exact same. So, what was your number 7 pick of the year?
I've realized that my number 6 is a limited series, so
What? That's mental. So we taking it out and bumping kneecap up to 10, or what's going on there?
yeah, I think I'll take it out. It is disclaimer that I watched the Venice and yeah, 5 stars. It's just brilliant, but it's a limited series, so Let's remove that. So yeah, let's bump up Kneecap to 10, Maxine is 9, Zone of Interest is 8. And my number 7, and this, okay, the discourse around the film pisses me off so much, to the point where I think I could do a whole podcast episode talking and arguing for this film, because, God, some people are absolutely brain dead and piss me off so much. Okay, my number 7 film is Civil War. By Alex Garland. And I'm so glad I watched it before anyone started talking about it. I will defend this film till the end because I really loved it. I was really kind of immersed. I think the subject matter is clearly a criticism of media and war photographers and the press,
David
and
Attenborough, technically,
covering,
standing back and doing nothing.
yeah, I mean, covering, events such as war, in media and press and whatever. Like, it's clearly a criticism of them. I've heard some people thinking that it glorifies war. Jesus Christ! Like, what are you actually watching?
Yeah,
What are some people actually
that's a
watching?
mental opinion.
You're insane. Those people are actually insane, right?
I think there are some
Anyway,
fair criticisms of it, but that is
there are fair
mental.
criticisms, but you actually didn't watch the film if you say, "Oh, this is a glorifying war," or it doesn't criticize war photographers and the media. It clearly does. I mean, that is the point of the film. And like people saying, "Oh, it doesn't give a political stance." I mean, okay. First of all, honestly, I think it does purely because of the Jesse Plemons thing. I think he's clearly a pro-gun MAGA guy, and he's clearly a really fucking bad guy in the film. That's the only kind of hint at politics, and it's,
he's a racist guy.
He's clearly like a far-right weirdo, like MAGA guy.
Or just really nationalistic and pro-America and anti-anything that isn't America.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like the villain, I guess. I mean, the war photographers are the villain, right? I feel like we all could see that, it's about the fact that they, become these, emotionless robots who are just there to get the right picture, right? That is the point of the film. But then even further villainy is given to Jesse Plemons, who is like this guy that we described. God, like, and even if there's no politics and you don't know which side is which, why does that matter if that's not what the film is about? The film is focusing on war photographers. Why would they add stuff about like giving you a backstory about who's against who and why is this state on this side and why is this on this side? This makes no sense. Like, yeah, you're watching a film. That's what that is what a film is. Like, maybe it's not about what the politics are of this war or how it started. Maybe it's about something else. Maybe it's zooming in into another issue. Like, have you ever watched a film before? Jesus Christ, whatever. I enjoyed it. Again, I already mentioned Kaylee Spaney in Any of Romulus. She's also one of my favourite films of 2023, Priscilla, which is a 5-star film by Sofia Coppola. And I think Kaylee Spaney is in my Wonder adult list of best young actors out there. And I think the one criticism I have is Kirsten... What's her name?
Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. I think maybe she holds back a bit with her performance, but
I think they all do outside of Plemons.
Yeah. Well, no, I think Kaylee Spaney was good.
I think she's
like
okay.
I
like her as well, but
but yeah, anyway, so that's why it's sort of 5 stars, because honestly, if the actors kind of were at the top of their game, I really do like this film. I think the criticism is stupid. I'm going to say it flat out. I think it's stupid. Okay, I don't want to sound pretentious, because I'm not trying to be pretentious, but, like, did you even watch the film if you have these criticisms? Like, I will actually argue with people about it, because I understand if you don't like the film as a film, but if you're having these arguments about the subject matter or, like, its politics, you're actually insane and there's something wrong with you.
Okay, let's move on. What's next?
Anyway.
What number are we on? 6? 7? So I'll do my 7. My number 7. Yeah, my number 7.
Yeah, okay.
Is
Ronaldo,
for me.
sorry.
Yeah, No. Well, funny
Okay.
because it's about America and sexual assault.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Well,
this is for me one of the most underrated films of the year.
how
Snubbed because of its politics. But not even because it's politics, it's who it's portraying. And I think it has two of the best performances of the year. Number 7 for me is The Apprentice, starring Sebastian Stan and oh god, what's his name? Jeremy Strong
Jeremy
from
Strong.
Succession. Yeah, Jeremy Strong. I think Sebastian Stan should be in the conversation for best actor. I think um, Jeremy Strong alongside Yura, I can't remember, is it Yura Balakov? I can't remember his name. From Anora should
You're a
be the
Borisov.
two. Yura Borisov, sorry, should be for best supporting actor. I think this is a superb film. Could have probably gone higher, to be honest. It probably could have gone as high as 6. Um, I do not get why this film. I mean, I understand. No, that's a lie. I understand why it's being pushed away and silenced, but I think that is so anti-art and so anti-free speech. This is a very candid, clear, unbiased look at Donald Trump and what made him tick and who he is and why he is. Um, I think everyone should watch this film. I think it's beautifully shot. It's so well edited. It's got an amazing soundtrack. So well acted. I struggle to pick many holes in this film at all. I've got a 4.5 out of 5. It's unbelievable. It's yeah. It's I don't know. It's incredible. Have you seen it out of interest?
No,
Well, you should watch it. It's very good.
I will.
Moving on. What is your number 6 pick?
Okay, my number 6. I don't know if you've watched it. If you have, I'm surprised it's this high on your list. But at number 6, I have Challenges
I
by
have seen it.
Luca
I have seen it.
Guadagnino. Oh, okay. Well, sorry for spoiling. Yeah, I have Challenges at number 6. Watched it in April, so I guess we didn't cover it because we both watched it probably when it released. I think this is Luca Guadagnino's best film. It's a
Agree.
lot better than Call Me by Your Name, which is rubbish.
Don't
Sorry.
necessarily agree. Half agree.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor are some of the best supporting performances of the year. I think the music, the score is just the soundtrack by what are they called? Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor? Someone? God, what am I
Trent
talking about?
Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Yes. Oh, I got it right. Okay. Yeah, I think that elevates the film to one of the best of the year. I don't want to be that person, but I do think Zendaya is a bit overrated. I can't believe people are saying that this is
You and my dad would get along
overrated.
famously because he doesn't like her.
Like I think it's crazy that some people are saying she should be nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars. Like, well, I actually think Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor were a lot better than her performance in this film. I haven't seen too much except some episodes of Euphoria, where Zendaya I think has been great. I'm still kind of waiting for her to have that one performance where I'm like, okay, actually, you are one of the best young actors out there. Because Malcolm and Marie, you haven't watched it. It's absolutely rubbish.
I
Um,
just jump in there. I have a good feeling about. Is it the drama? Was it drama with Robert Pattinson that's coming out next year or maybe the year after?
maybe, but I'm sure Robert Pattinson will run rings around her.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, he
Wait,
is.
completely aside.
Oh,
Robert Pattinson is one of the best of his generation. So
yeah,
versatile.
absolutely, absolutely. Yep, 100%. Um, I think that she has the support of a lot of young film watchers because of maybe where she started out, and she's very well known as Zendaya. I
Also, she
think her
markets
acting is
herself very
still,
well.
yeah, she does. And the Tom Holland thing helps, and Spider-Man and all that. But as a serious actress, I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying she's bad. I'm just saying I'm not overly impressed yet.
She's Paul Mescal to you, isn't she?
No, I think well, she doesn't have an After Sun performance yet, so actually,
That's
I
very
don't
true.
know.
Yes, very, very true.
Yeah, she has some work to do, but I'm willing to wait and see because she's still young. She's still a really young actress. But yeah, Challenges, brilliant film, really entertaining. I will want to rewatch it, maybe soon.
Mm. My number six pick of
The
the year.
lighting as well in
The
challenges
lighting is
sometimes is
very good. Yeah.
amazing.
My number six pick of the year. One of my favorite directors, one of my favorite actors. It is Richard Linklater's Hitman. Um, this film's obviously delayed for quite a while. Didn't get a proper theatrical
Okay,
release,
wait.
so it's on
I
my
watched
list.
Hitman last year, which is why it's not on my list. But I absolutely love it.
Yeah, just really, really good. Is it Glenn Powell's best performance? No, I don't think it is personally. I think it's probably top
It is.
two or top three. I loved him in Everybody Wants Some. I thought he was
Okay,
so
I haven't seen
charismatic, but
that, so
it's yeah. I mean, you will prefer him in Hitman to Everybody Wants Some, I think,
yeah.
but like it is some of his career best work. The scene towards the end where he's got his notes app open and he's scrolling
That is
is
one of
like
my favorite scenes of the year. It's so funny.
agree,
That is one of the
completely
funniest things
agree.
of the year. Oh my god, I love that scene so much.
He
And Adria Arjona, I love her so much. I love her so much.
he does such a good job at hamming it up, but at the right moment, at the right level, that he can go really big with his performance. I would like to see a little bit more nuance at times, but he did do it really well in Hitman. This is really well written, really well directed. This is a superb film. Number five, Veronica, what was your number five pick of 2024?
Okay, so my number five is a film that hasn't released yet in the UK. I think it'll be out in January, so it will be in your 2025 ranking maybe. But it's Baby Girl.
Excited for this? Very excited for this.
Yep, it's directed by Helena Rain, a Dutch director. It's her second film. And it's incredible. I've actually bumped it up to 5 stars because I know that when I rewatch it, I will give it 5 stars. I think the two leads are so good. Harris Dickinson is one of the best young actors in the industry, alongside George McKay. Nicole Kidman, I'm surprised. I am surprised that she's getting shouts for actually being nominated for Best Actress because of the type of performance and the type of film that it is. But I do think she deserves it.
It's a weird category this year, Best Actress. There's not like loads of standout candidates.
But she is one of them. I think I'm glad that it's a year like that where her performance could get in, because usually I think they'd kind of, I don't know, turn their noses up at a film like this. But it's really good. I think no one talks about Antonio Banderas in this film, but he gives quite a good supporting performance. I think most people don't even know he's in the film. But yeah, it's erotic thriller, power imbalance kind of, thing. I just love it. I love stuff like that. Nicole Kidman, I love you. Harris Dickinson, I love you.
But you don't
Yeah,
love Antonio Banderas, do you? You hate Antonio Banderas, I
I
heard.
don't love him, but I like him. Anyway, it's very it will have you hot under your collar if you're wearing a collar.
Yeah. Big collar, don't wear, yeah, be careful if you, warning,
Yeah,
if you
actually,
wear a collar,
advice: don't wear a
don't wear
collar.
collars.
Don't wear anything with a collar because it will be hot and sweaty. Yeah, I'm okay. The only thing I will say, I mean, I've reviewed it already, but the only thing I will say, if you haven't listened to my review, is don't expect it to be as serious as you think. It is much. It was a much more comedic film than it looks, and it will surprise
It's
you
like
how funny
like
it
a
is.
raunchy comedy thriller type.
Not really. I think it's just because it goes into these things, these situations more realistically than other films. So like it's quite natural and quite funny the way in which things happen and work out, because it doesn't try and sell you a fairy tale, if that makes sense. But yeah, Baby Girl, go watch it. I think it's out in the US. Will be out in the UK. Well, there's previews like on New Year's Eve if you want to go.
Yeah. Anyway, is that
But
all
yeah,
on Baby Girl?
yes.
Cool. My number five pick, Veronica just mentioned it, is Challengers. This is a date night film. I absolutely
R.I.P.
fucking loved it. Yeah, she's not dead, usually. Yeah. She left. She's not dead. Um,
You asked to recreate challenges, and that's why she
yeah,
left.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be
Actually.
there. I'll be there. No. Um, but no, this is superb. Josh O'Connor and Mike Feist are excellent. It's energetic. It's raunchy. It's well shot. It's well edited. It's so good. It's such a. I know my uncle and auntie, the auntie who knew Nicholas Hoult. They didn't like it much, but I did. I loved it. It's a 4.5 star. Yeah, there's not much I can add to it. So what is your into top four now? What's your number 4 pick of the year?
You know what? I think 3 of our top 4 is the same.
Yes, yeah.
And I think
I was wondering where your one was going to turn up.
I'm very surprised about one of them that you have it in your top 4, because I seem to remember people not liking it as much as me. But okay, anyway, we'll get into it. And I think it's actually not number 4, but it's not my number 4. My number 4 is Dune Part 2.
Woo! I'm honestly, before you get into it, I'm so happy you liked this, but not only that you liked it, you absolutely loved it because you hated the first one.
Yeah, I did. I hated the first one, but I thought, listen, I'll give the second one a chance because I've heard that the first one just sets up the second one, and the second one's the one where stuff happens. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go watch it. I'll watch it at the cinema. I'll give it the best chance I can give it to impress me, and that's like exactly what it did. I think it's incredible. I came out just thinking, like, wow, like that was insane. And I don't usually like sci-fi films. I'm not into these kind of sci-fi series of films, like trilogies and whatever, like your Star Wars is your whatever. So these aren't usually for me. And usually you'd expect that I would not rate a film like this 5 stars and not love it, but I did, and I think it's amazing. I think Denis Villeneuve or whatever is one of the best directors. Oh, okay, shut up. That's how Americans say it. Villeneuve. He's one of the best directors, period. Arrival is an incredible film. Amy Adams was robbed. Anyway, I think Timothée Chalamet is so good in this film. Like, I was so impressed because I don't know if I feel like this was his breakout performance in my eyes, to me. But I also did love him in Bones and All, Little Women, and probably I will love him in A Complete Unknown soon. But yeah, I don't think I have anything to say other than this is one of the best films of the year. And if you missed out watching it at the cinema, I feel so sorry for you.
My number 4 pick of the year, and a film I saw in cinema, it's M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. I absolutely adore this film. I know a lot of people don't. It's got like an average Letterboxd rating of 2.7, which I think is bonkers, to be honest. I think Josh Hartnett is exceptional and should be getting more love in the Oscar race. I think the cinematography is, I think, probably the best of the year. I think I think I'd say that. I think it's funny. It's a bit cringy, but that works because it's M. Night. It's well directed. Yeah, I'm fully trap pilled. I think I love it more than I think I'm out of kind of our circle of people we know and chat about films with. I think I'm probably biggest on Trap, and I think if I rewatched it, it would have a good chance of getting a 5.
Trap Nation,
yeah. Trap City bitch, Trap City bitch. I know, I understand why it didn't work as much with people, but for me it did. I'm a big M. Night guy, and yeah, this is brilliant. Yeah, Veronica, what is your number 3 pick of the year?
Okay, my number 3 pick is a film that I think is in your top 3, but
Is it?
I'm really surprised it is. It's either that or you haven't watched it, because it's a film that I watched at the beginning of the year. I rewatched it 3 days after seeing it for the first time because I absolutely love Yorgos Lanthimos and its Kinds of Kindness.
Oh, I mentioned it earlier. That's my 18th of the year.
Oh fuck! Yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, yeah, there's no way Jack loved this as much as me that he put it in his top 3. Like, there's no way.
I mentioned it earlier.
Okay, well, I'm actually glad because I was a bit confused. But yeah, God, I love this film so much. I've given it 5 stars twice. I'll probably watch it like 10 more times. I have it on Blu-ray. I just love everything he makes. I think what sometimes you just have a director or a writer or an actor who just makes things for you because they have the same brain wiring as you and it all works and it matches up perfectly, and that's just me and Yorgos Lanthimos. Like, I don't know, that probably sounds weird, but like, I just feel like everything he finds funny, I find funny. Like, or I get where it's meant to be funny and where it's supposed to be serious. Or, I don't know, like, I just love everything about everything he makes. There's nothing else I can say more about him. I like the fact that there's 3 separate short films in it. I mean, some of them are better than others. I think they're all great. For the first time I watched it, I watched it with a Q&A with Yorgos, Emma Stone, and Jesse Plemons, and that completely made me levitate onto another planet because I can't believe those people were in front of me. And then I watched it for the second time a few days later in 35mm, and God, it was like I liked it even more when I watched it again, and I think I'll watch it again and again and again, like all of his other films, and I'll like them more again and again every single time, and I'll find another thing to love the next time, and the next time, and the next time, because I don't know, they're just perfect for me. Like, his films are just perfect, and I love him. I can't wait for the next one. I love the fact that Emma Stone is working with him again on the next film. And, yeah. I can't rave any more about him than I already have. And I think it speaks volumes that I put 2 films above them. Because, I know it's not Yorgos' best film. I'm not, completely blinded by that. But it is still 5 stars to me. But there are still 2 films above it, which shows just how much I love the next 2 films. But yeah.
My number 3 pick of the year is my first 5-star film, and I watched it twice. In December 2024, I watched it on the 1st of December and then the 20th with family. Veronika, I know you're not as high on it as me, but it just really worked for me. It is The Holdovers, starring Paul Giamatti. That one kid whose name I can't remember. Dominic Sessa, that's it. Divine Joy Randolph, who obviously won the Oscar. Directed by Alexander Payne. This is in my top 3 Christmas films alongside.
It was a pain to watch. I'm joking.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. I like the pain. Double entendre there.
Go watch Baby Girl.
Sure. So my number 1 Christmas film of all time is Muppets Christmas Carol, and that won't be displaced. But this is number 2, just ahead of It's Wonderful Life. I don't know. It's just really works for me on so many levels, on a comedic level, on a dramatic level, cinematography, feel, vibe, coziness, emotion. I don't know. It's just like it's exceptional. It is firmly number 3 because I think number 2 and number 1 are just so much better than it within kind of the 5-star scoring system. But yeah, this is brilliant. I think any other year, if let's say Oppenheimer came up in a different year, I think Paul Giamatti has the Oscar wrapped up. Whether you think that's right or wrong is by the by. I think in the context of the race, I think he was very clearly the second best male leading performance of the year, and deserved to win the Oscar. And if Cillian Murphy wasn't around, but obviously he was and deserved to win for Oppenheimer. Yeah, The Holdovers, Christmas classic. Love it. Get into the top 2 now, and I think we've got. I think our number 1 is the same, but I think our number 2 is different. I think your number 2 is.
I know your number 2.
Yeah,
and you know my number 2. You know what it is. It's
should we say,
substance.
Wait. Oh yeah, I was going to say we could say each other's.
Yeah, but you know what it is. It's the substance.
Yeah, I know the way.
It's 5 stars. I mean, it just completely surprised me the first time I watched it. I had this. I've said it before. I had like this dumbass like grin on my face the whole like last 30 minutes because of how much I was enjoying it and how much of a good time I had watching it in a packed crowd and seeing everything happen for the first time. It's just ridiculous. And it's meant to be ridiculous. Stop writing think pieces about it. Stop making YouTube essays. No one cares. The script has, like, the script is the funniest thing because it's so obviously written just like I don't know, just out of fun and just going for it and like, yeah, let's do that and let's do that and let's do that, and it's just, God, it's just brilliant. It's just fun. It's like the most fun I've had watching a film at the cinema this year. And I also love body horror, but it's not really a horror. I'd say it's more of a comedy, which is why I'm not surprised.
It's more body than horror.
Yeah, exactly. It is more body than horror. And we love that. But God, I really want you to watch it. Like, just watch it at home and skip the horror scenes, please.
I recently watched Videodrome, and I'm going to try and like
it's
wean
not
myself
worse
onto.
than
Wait.
that.
I'm going to try and wean myself onto body horror just so I'm used to it, because I feel like I want to enjoy it. So I'm going to get used to the genre first. I think, do you want me to
it's more
rate
like...
it fairly or not?
No, I just want you to watch it.
We'll see. Maybe I'll squeeze it in before the end of the year. Who knows?
Yeah, and actually, I mean, obviously the performances: Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid. God, Demi Moore has to be nominated for an Oscar. I would still be surprised if she is, just because of the type of film it is, and they hate horror. But I think it's more of a comedy. I think Demi Moore is just, oh my God, and she was at my screening. She just has this crazy movie star aura, and I was in awe of her. Good one. When she walked past me after that screening, because I was just so impressed by her performance.
You just wanted more, didn't you?
I absolutely did, yes. And I'm so upset that the sound design got snubbed in the Oscars shortlist, because it's the best of the year, and it's like the Zone of Interest. It's the kind of sound design that you would want to be recognized, rather than picking a film that is really loud, or like a film that you think has music in it and you see that as sound design. No, like, sound design is not about that. I think it's so good in the substance. At the Q&A, actually, there was a guy who was like an expert in sound or something, and he mentioned the sound design and how good it was, and he said it's the best he's ever seen in a film. Because it is absolutely brilliant. Like, the magnifying things, and then the sound, kind of is exaggerated according to what you're looking at, just to make it a bit more disgusting and icky, and oh God, it's just so good. The directing, amazing. Coralie Fargia, or whatever. I love her, and I can't wait to see what she makes next. I can't believe it's her second film. It's coming out on Blu-ray soon. I'll absolutely get it. I want to watch it more. I watched it in IMAX in November. Yeah, thanks. Jack booked me the ticket because I was at work, and on the big screen at BFI IMAX, just wow, incredible again. It's so rewatchable, so kind of quotable, not in quotes but in scenes, if that makes sense. Like, memorable. They're so memorable. Oh God, yeah, I just think it's one of those films that I thought this was going to be my favourite film of the year, and I wrote in my review, favourite film of the year. But obviously there was one film that took that spot, and we both know what that is. But
wait, that's not. I'll do my number two. But
I just think this was such a shock, because I would have never expected this film to even be anywhere on my radar, and then I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, I need to fucking watch this, and then it was just incredible. My second favourite film of the year. So you never know what you watch. This is why you just go to the cinema, because you never know what's gonna completely catch you off guard, and like, it beat out a Yorgos film, which is crazy, because this is a director I've never seen before. Yeah. And shout out Margaret Qualley, because she was in my top two, my number 2 and my number 3 film of the year. So yeah, incredible.
Well done, Margaret.
Incredible scenes. Well done, Margaret.
Driveway Dolls as well. I mean, that was a shit film, but like,
yeah, but let's not talk about that. No. Let's move on.
My number 2 pick, and I think this is similar to Weronika in that this is a film. So I saw it twice in cinema. In the space of about a month. I went on to read the books. I've got it on Blu-ray, and I was so certain that it would be my number 1 pick by the end of the year, but it obviously wasn't, because this is number 2. It is Dune Part 2. I was a bit late to the Dune party. I watched Dune Part 1 in January. It's kind of as soon as I became more kind of aware of it. Incredible film. And then I was just hooked as soon as I saw the first one. And I was just utterly blown away by the spectacle, um, the size, the scale of Dune Part 2, also the intimacy as well. I think is really important. Um, Timothée Chalamet is unbelievable. Like I've not seen a complete unknown, but his performance is getting universal respect and praise. He could conceivably, I know you can't obviously do this legally, but like if you could have unlimited nominations in a single category, he could conceivably have two Best Leading Actor nominations. He is that good, but also like Josh Brolin is really cool. Javier Bardem's really good, but Rebecca Ferguson, I'm surprised her performance isn't getting more love in the Oscar race. Because I thought her kind of descent into madness and power was really unbelievable. It looks stunning. It is. I mean, Dune Messiah will come out in, I think it's 2026 December. The cinematographer will be, I think it's this one. The cinematographer will be Linus Sandgren, who did things like La La Land. I think that's such a good pick to replace Greg Fraser. Yeah, it's an unbelievable film. I saw it first on my own in cinema, and then I took my dad to see it in number 6, and he loved it as well. Go read the books, go watch Dune Part 2 on the biggest screen you can. It's unbelievable. Now, Veronica, do we want to say 3, 2, 1, and then name what our number one the podcast, because we agree on this,
Yeah,
which is quite
we
nice.
agree. I'm so surprised. And the thing is, it's crazy because we were both so set on our favourite films, and for
Yeah,
both of us, it came in and just completely stole the crown, basically. Because that's how incredible it is. And we both
yeah.
know what it is.
So the Floodlights Camera Action number one film of the year for 2024 in 3, 2, 1 is
Honora.
Honora. That was actually, I
Why
thought,
why did you say is?
because
I thought you were just gonna say Honora.
well, they got the gist. Do you want to go first on this one,
Okay.
or should I?
I mean, we've talked about it loads now, but yeah, because I saw it in October at London Film Festival, of course. And I think when I saw it in October with a crowd, I think the crowd influenced me into seeing it very comedically, and like the ending did hit because it's a change in tone towards the end. I think the scenes where it seems so dreamlike and like a fairy tale, and the in the middle, the take that needle drop in the middle kind of section before things go
At the
sour.
end of the first act.
Yeah, I think that just made me float. Like, it felt like being in love, which is crazy because that's not actually what it is. But the feeling that it made me feel watching it was like they did everything they could to make that seem like it was love, and this kind of it's like, I don't know how they captured that feeling of just like meeting
Euphoria.
someone for a
Like,
day or something, yeah, and just like having this whirlwind romance that just completely sweeps you off your feet and makes you feel like nothing is important and nothing is real and you're in a dream-like state. I think I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know, I felt that throughout that scene. Like, it made me get goosebumps. But then when it takes a turn, it gets this buddy cop style comedy, I'd say, and
that's the
then
funniest comedy. That middle
funniest
act is the
comedy of the
funny. I
year,
think
or
it's the
even maybe
funniest of the
some of
year.
the best I've seen. To be
It's
honest,
so
some of the
good.
funniest
It's
scenes
just
I've seen.
slapstick.
It's like so unexpected as well, because you'd never think this film. I did not think this film would be funny at all, like at all. I thought it was a straight drama. Um,
It's three films in one.
Crazy. It absolutely is. And then when I watched it the second time, I watched it at home on the 20th of December, so this was recently, and I watched it on my own at home, um, and I was enjoying it so much, and then when the ending was coming around, I knew the ending was coming, and I was like, kind of, oh god, like I could feel my heart kind of start to drop because I knew like what was happening, and I was again so invested emotionally. And I think the first time because it was so sudden, because the crowd was loving it and so like laughing the whole time. Because it was so sudden, maybe I didn't really get it fully, or it didn't really hit me as much, which is weird because you'd think such a sudden change of tone would make it hit more, but for me it didn't. I think because maybe it kind of was too much of a whiplash. But then the second time I watched it at home, and the ending came around, and I just sat in it, and I just sat there, and it was just silent, and I watched the whole of the credits, like, so I listened to the rain, and the rain stops as well, and the credits carry on silently, and God, I don't know, it was just such a devastating feeling. Yeah, I don't know, just absolutely incredible film.
I'll hop in.
Mikey deserves the Oscar. Yeah, you
Yeah,
should go for it.
I was going to touch on the performances. Mikey, yeah, deserves the Oscar for me for best actress. Um, but I think some underappreciated performances. Obviously, Yuri Borisov should be in contention. He's top three for me for supporting performances. I still think I prefer Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice, but I wouldn't complain at all if Yuri Borisov got it. I think there's some scenes in the final third of the film where he's actually in the background of a lot of them, but your eyes are on him rather than the foreground because you want him to jump in and say something. Um, Another really underrated performance was Karen Karagulian, who was the taxi driver in Sean Baker's debut, a shit film, Tangerine. He is really funny, and I didn't realize he had comedy in him because the only thing I'd seen him was Tangerine, where he was kind of miserable and a dramatic role.
Right,
He does
but now
comedy.
also please go watch the other Sean Baker films,
Yeah, I'll watch the
because
Florida
now you
Project
know
and Red
he has
Rocket.
potential to be really fucking good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's our number one film of the year for a reason. I'm so glad that we are together on that, and we can firmly say this is the best film of the year. And I think for me, it's the best of the. Oh, I don't know. It's one of the best of the decade. For me,
I think
it's
it's probably one of my
definitely.
favorite ever.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
maybe it's recency bias, but right now I'd
It's
put
one of
it
the
in
best I've
my
ever
top
seen.
four.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. It's
well,
probably in my top
I have put it in my top. It has been in my top
25.
four, but
Yeah, it's probably in my top 25, but top 20 maybe. It's sensational. Go watch Nora. It's yeah. This has been a bumper long episode. Have we got anything we want to quickly touch on before we go?
yeah,
Potentially some films that you watched for the first time this year, not from 2024, that you loved.
yeah. I'm just gonna go for my top 10, like just saying the names. So,
Go quick
number
fire.
one,
Cool.
The Apartment. Number 2, Enter the Void, Gaspar Noé. Number 3, Blowout. Number 4, Persona. Number 5, Before Sunset. 6, After Hours. 7, City Lights. 8, Oslo, 31st August. 9, Eurotrip. 10, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning.
I'll do the same. I'll kind of do one per month very quickly.
Go for
January,
it.
this is 5-star films that I watched for the first time. January, Heat. February, Thin Red Line. March, we'll go Magnolia. April doesn't count because they're just rewatches. May, After Hours / Lawrence of Arabia, but really After Hours. June, Gladiator. July, Singing in the Rain. August, we'll go Boyhood. September, Nothing. October, Minority Report. November, The New World / Blowout. And December, we will go for Chicago. And that takes up to the end of the episode.
That was it.
We got there.
Bumper, absolutely massive episode.
Oh, this is going to be... So, fun fact, I'm
Before we
editing
started, I
it.
told you it was
So,
going to be 3 hours, and you
yeah,
said
and I
no
went,
way.
yeah.
And I said, yes, it is. It's going to be 3 hours long.
If this is jankily edited, direct hate at me, not Veronica, because I've volunteered to edit, which was very stupid, because I have work to do after this. But anything you want to add before we go? Or we all set?
Yes, I do. I want to say I wish everyone a Happy New Year. Because we didn't wish anyone Merry Christmas. So, let's, we'll wish everyone a
fair.
Happy New Year. Keep listening, please. If you've gone this far, let us know. Write us an email, because you clearly love us a lot. Thanks, Mum.
Thanks, Ben, as well. Thank you, Ben, for contributing.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I mean, it's going to be a whole year of podcasting next year, which is going to be a
Will
lot.
we
So our
will
roundup
we
is going to
do
be even
56?
bigger.
Yeah, will we do 56 episodes? Yes or no?
Yeah, we will. We will. And on the
Wait,
50th episode, we might have a special guest. So,
shit, yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah,
Might have
you
two
forgot
special
about
guests.
that. So, yeah, maybe special guest coming
Yeah.
50th episode. But we will. This was a roundup of 2024. We tried to do it at the end of 2024. At the beginning of 2025, beginning of January, we will be doing a preview of 2025 with what we're anticipating in terms of films. Maybe we'll touch on music again.
January is a big month for films, by the way. Like normally there's a lot of
Absolutely
shit
massive.
releases, but there are a lot of like if you want to get into film, get yourself some cinema trips booked for January because there's some big
Absolutely.
boys coming.
We'll also go through the films that we've recently watched, because we didn't do that this episode, and we'll go through some physical media updates from Christmas, and yeah, we'll have a little look forward. This is our look back, not the film, but we will have a look forward beginning of January. So stick around.
Look forward to it.
And invest in FCA coin, because we are on the up, baby.
Don't do that. Jesus Christ. Don't invest in FCA coin or Hawk coin. But that officially takes us up to the end of another episode and the last of the year. As Veronika said, hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a lovely new year. If you miss us in the next week or so, make sure you go back and listen to last week's episode in which just me, because Veronika was too drunk to turn up, chat to football writer and film enthusiast Casey Evans about all things film, football and Christmas. It was a lovely episode. I absolutely loved it. If you want to follow us, go on Twitter and go to @FloodlightsPod. You can follow me on Letterboxd. It's jhancock46 and Veronika's is Slowed Panda. Veronika, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Can you let people know, just like Ben did, how and where they can get in contact with us?
Yes, if you want to send us an email, maybe some well wishes for the new year, or maybe you want to recommend us some New Year's resolutions because you hate us. Floodlightpod@gmail.com. Floodlightpod@gmail.com. Also, leave us a 5-star rating, please, on Spotify and Apple. And yeah, keep listening and keep consuming. And goodbye.